They always remember the shot you missed and never the shot you make. So I'm going to go back in time.
If it's one thing we can say about our good producer, it is that he is super petty. But that's why we love him here, and he keeps us on top of our game, is because he is petty as hell.
So let's roll back time just a couple of days to last Monday, and we're going to pretend Big Kenny and Miss Desire for 3 minutes. That is last Monday. Okay?
Okay.
I got it. So here's the birthdays for June 27th, 2012. Nicole Kidman turned 45.
Happy birthday.
Far and away.
Yeah. Miss Cosby herself, Felicia Rashad, turned 64. I missed that show.
I wonder was Ahmad
Cosby Show.
Rashad invited to the
birthday
party? Yeah.
She was older than Ahmad a couple years, right?
Yeah, I think.
Right? Okay.
That might be true.
Randy Jackson, one of the Jacksons, 56 years old.
Wow.
And he was the baby boy, right? Randy's the youngest one, and he's 56? Yeah.
I think so.
56. Randy Jackson. Michael Jackson's Circus Olay show was in town this past week in Atlanta, Georgia. John Goodman, Rosie O'Barr. What's her name?
Roseanne
Barr.
Roseanne Barr.
His ex, John Goodman, on the show. 60 years old. Chico DeBarge. Remember Chico? Is he back in jail?
622 years old. No.
He's
he's in a halfway house sometime, and then he on probation sometime, and then he gets saved for about 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And then it's right back to the streets.
I like it.
Paula Abdul
is 322 years old.
50 years old, Paula Abdul.
Are they vampires? I need to know, because I need some secrets. I think I'm doing good for 32, but I'm saying.
And I'm saying 50. Paula Abdul was like 39 years old in 82.
Good God.
And she's just now reaching 50. She was on American Idol for 30 seasons.
Lionel Richie, dancing on the ceiling.
Say 50.
63, Lionel. Okay. He's had a facelift, though. His face is real tight.
Lionel Richie went to Tuskegee as one of the original Tuskegee Airmen.
Is that true?
Yes, he was there way back then, and he's just now 63. Stop.
And who is it? Zoe Zaldana is 34 years old. She needs to gain a little weight, though. Just in the sports
I could put
talk.
a few pounds on her.
That comes with good eating and other things.
That's where babies come from.
And Big Kenny, I know you will like this one. Jimmy Walker.
Dynamite!
Jimmy Walker. Would you like to take a guess how old Jimmy Walker is?
Jimmy Walker is 63 years old.
63. Mr. Zaya?
65.
There you ding, 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 ding. Jimmy Walker, 65 years old.
I cheated.
Dynamite.
You know, he claims to never have ever watched an episode of Good Times.
Really?
I heard that.
Never.
I heard
Never
that they
seen
never
an
even
episode.
talked to him. Like they made him say Dynamite only a couple of times during the show, and he was like, whenever they started doing that, he just didn't enjoy it.
It was terrible though.
It probably was, but
he got paid, boy.
And what was the lady with the booty on there?
Thelma or Willona?
Yeah. Oh, both of them.
Yes, you know, Thelma still could get it today. She looked the same. Looked like she looked like she getting ready to marry eBay right now.
We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the price of cover-ups.
Happy Monday, people.
We'll be back. More of the Sports Jock Show after this.
We'll return to the Sports Jock Show after this. Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Psst. Hey, over here.
What?
Right here, on the side of the house.
Who said that?
Look down. I'm right at your feet.
Wait, the basketball?
Yes, the basketball. Right down here, where the kids left me a long time ago. Man, you know how lonely it is being a ball and not being able to bounce or roll?
Excuse me?
Remember when you got me for the kids? You said, now kids, you have no excuse not to go outside and play.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I'll miss flying through the air and hearing the shouts of joy when I swish through the basket. What do you say? Could you give me a little air and remind the kids of how fun I still am?
Okay. Oh, wow. You are flat.
Easy, I'm ticklish. Let's get bouncing.
As Native American parents and caregivers, our encouragement to healthy lifestyles for our kids is helping them get outside and play. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov/Indian Country. Brought to you by USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors. Out in Sacramento, Oakland area in California.
In the Bay, homie.
Their head coach, Mark Jackson, former, I think Mark played about 15, 16 years in the NBA at point guard. Played at the University of St. John's. He has been the head coach of Golden State. This is going on his second year. And for the last couple of months, a stripper and her boyfriend have been trying to extort money out of Coach Jackson. And some of you might know Mark from, he's been commentating before he took the Golden State job for the last 3 or 4 years. They were trying to extort over $200,000. It was a blackmail plot over some photos the stripper had of Mark and her being naked.
Kenny, what are we doing wrong? I think we need to do a leak somewhere. I'm saying we are doing something wrong. $200,000
$200,000.
$100,000.
$200,000 ain't worth the proof.
Apparently, Mark had an affair 6 years ago with Alexis Adams, a 28-year-old former stripper.
So she's a quitter.
Her and her boyfriend, Marcus Shaw, 40 years old, Marcus Shaw, who has been in trouble with the law before.
How
surprising is that, right? Have been caught as of last week trying to extort this money from Mark, in which Mark even at one point gave the couple $5,000.
What's that? And they trying to get $200,000. What's $5,000?
They originally, well, you know, they went with one plan.
Next.
And the plan didn't actually go right for them. They even contacted the wife at one point. I guess my big question.
What were
Big
these
Kenny,
pictures of him doing? Just them being naked together?
Well, proof, I guess, to his wife that he had been having an affair on him.
Like the phone call didn't help?
Or the text messages, maybe?
Right, when they called her.
When you're in the public eye, and
Right.
especially when you're a head coach. Now, something like this for a actress or a music person
or an athlete
doesn't hurt them. But when you're the head coach
or an athlete,
of
now the coach can't do it, but the player can.
Well,
Wayne?
based on who's the player, because when you are the face of certain products in this country, you can't take this kind of
You can't take that hit. Yeah.
in your career. Now, if you're just the guy on the end of the bench,
Hey, man.
or you're like Greg Odom. Remember Greg Odom? They had some pictures of him. Nobody cares, but you don't even play. But
Kobe Bryant strong-armed a broad that worked the front desk of a hotel. And if anybody's the face of a franchise, I would say it's him. And he ended up okay.
But
I think
for about 2 years, Kobe did lose his Nike and his Sprite endorsements.
So he got it back.
Right. That really hurt for that 2 years that he missed that several million. So he had to live on his other $112 million.
And he didn't go to court, which that would have hurt him. If he had went to court and been found guilty, then we'd have had a different outcome. That's why I'm quite sure that his PR people and his lawyer was like, just cut the check and let this go away, because that 2 years with a guilty verdict could have definitely turned into
several years,
5 years. And it didn't hurt that a year or two later he went out and won an NBA championship to get people to forget that part of his life. But
and what are the chances of that happening in the Bay?
And what you also have to get is if the hotel attendant or whoever, the room service lady, would have maybe had some pictures or some videotape of what went on, it would have made things bigger. But as I was saying, when you're a coach, no matter what level, high school, college, professional, you're supposed to be the integrity.
That's it. I'm doing a
team.
tell-all book. Who's on?
So,
Who's signing up? I'm saying.
A tell-all.
I'm doing a tell-all
book. As long
book.
as I ain't in it.
I've been pouring for a long
As long as I'm not in it, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I'm doing a tell-all book.
I got some
I'm saying, Wayne,
I got some confidentiality things you need to sign. That's why I brought this to work today.
I got one too.
Yeah, I'm on. I'm ready to sign.
Baby, let me tell you for real. Before you tell it all on me in a book, I'll do a video blog. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell it first. Like, man, let me tell you what she gonna say I did, and most of that she not even gonna be telling.
I'm gonna get you while
the
you sleep.
whole story.
I'm gonna get you while you sleep.
You know,
I'm gonna knock you out.
You know, I
don't
don't sleep. That is, I don't sleep at all.
Let me ask the both of you: would this? I think he was paying off because he would have taken a major hit.
Absolutely.
As a commentator. You know, when he was working for ABC doing the NBA games and all that, if this had dropped out then, it definitely would have affected his career. Being a head coach, he can kind of maybe push, especially like you said, Big Kenny, of the Golden State Warriors. Now, if you're the Knicks head coach, if you're the Laker head coach, if you're Chicago's, teams that people really follow, then this would have affected you more.
The president of the United States has been exposed as a philanderer. Mark Jackson, nobody's really losing sleep over you being naked with a stripper. Admit to your family and those that you are employed by, I made a mistake, as a lot of people do. A lot of human beings make mistakes. She got some pictures. Take the power away from her. Okay, my wife knows the pictures are out there. My team knows the pictures are out there. The only thing I can hope now is I don't look embarrassingly small in the pictures or something like that. Let them come out. They're not worth $200,000.
But Big Kenny, and I think something I'm not hearing when you're talking is the picture part. So, yeah, Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, there was no pictures. Pictures and what you say are two different things. You alleging something, anybody can come anywhere and allege you did anything. But when you have an actual photograph of something that I can actually sell to TMZ and the National Enquirer, it won't go away. You saying something can go away a little bit. A picture, as they say, speaks 1,000 words or something like that?
No, my point to that is what makes it a blackmailable thing is that you don't want the pictures to come out. I understand. Well, there's no doubt that you had an affair. I mean, all of that is not debatable. This isn't going to trial in the court of your family and public opinion. This is actually going to be something that obviously you're admitting to an affair. The pictures are just extra proof. You've admitted your guilt, or you've been proven guilty through admission or somehow speculation she's found you guilty.
So the pain is already there.
Right. You've done it now. So I'm going to really give you $200,000 to keep something quiet that everybody already know?
Well, he wasn't hiding it from his wife, because he did admit to his wife when they first came at him that what happened.
Who's he hiding it from? The coaches? The organization? He could have went straight to them. Hey, man, you remember that stripper that you introduced me to? She got pictures of me, dude. I mean, what do we do now?
Doing a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm saying, what do we do now?
I think you're not giving enough credit to when you have a picture of something. It puts a whole nother face on it. Going to tell someone I cheated on my wife or I cheated on my taxes is one thing. When you actually have that piece of paper in your hand, and in this story, the guy approached him. This is when he got the FBI involved at a game. When Golden State was playing Memphis this year, that's where he gave him the $5,000. And then after that, he went and told the FBI that this was going on.
You played the game.
No, this was before the game when they were at the hotel.
I'm not talking about. I'm saying, Mark Jackson, you played the game. You got caught outside the lines, and then you panicked, and that's all I'm saying. A lot of these decisions that these people are trying to buy themselves out of could have been well prevented had you thought before you committed some of these acts.
Know your role.
I mean, stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
I mean, you a usher board chick dude, and you trying to mess with a stripper. They way more conniving than you. You ain't got enough game to be messing with strippers. You ought to stay in your lane, mess with dancers for the team, or the girl that sells peanuts or something like that. You stepped outside your box and you got burnt, and now look at you. I mean, you could have taken responsibility for what you did and maybe minimized the damage in the beginning, but you trying to hide stuff and cover it all up. And now not only are you a philanderer and a liar and somebody that'll pay people off, but you're bad at it too. So, I mean, a lot of that don't make no sense to me, man. That you play the game.
Well, we would definitely, when that stripper comes out with pictures of you, Big Kenny, we would definitely see how you handle the case. Because that president that you talk about, he went on national TV and lied and said he had no relations with this woman, if I remember correctly. Those were his words. So when you try to put it off as though Mark is just one person who's trying to suppress things about them,
I'm saying, and look what happened to John Edwards, and look what happened to Bill Clinton, and they could have just said, "Oops, I got caught." That's what happened. I got caught. You caught. Man up.
Easy to say when you're not.
Do the crime, you do the time. I live by the G code, Holmes.
Side. We know where that G got you.
I live by the G code, Holmes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna tell on nobody.
Good luck to Mark Jackson. Hopefully, you get the Golden State Warriors in the right place.
Please let it inspire them to do better.
Steph Curry to lead your team next year. We'll be back. We're gonna talk a little being intoxicated at 5 a.m.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
I'm Ed Smart, father of a child who was abducted.
I'm John Walsh. Like Ed, I also know the terror of having a child who was kidnapped. But now we have wonderful technology to aid in this battle.
It's called the Amber Alert. It's an early notification system to the public when every second counts.
Amber Alert is a partnership. We want to thank you, the public, broadcasters, transportation, and law enforcement. Amber Alert really works.
This moment of uncontrollable laughter was made possible by a 32-year-old man with little to no coordination attempting to execute a simple cartwheel. His name is Sergeant Warner, but young James, our laughing friend here, simply calls him Dad. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, we're talking to real smokers about quitting. Tell me when you smoke and why you smoke.
Eat, cigarette, kids, cigarette, dinner, another cigarette.
One on my way to lunch, one after lunch.
And another cigarette, and another cigarette.
Have you tried to quit?
Yes. I become angry.
It ain't that easy. You can't just quit cold turkey. I tried.
What would you do different?
Actually having a plan and thinking it through.
You have to relearn how to live your life without a cigarette in your hand.
With the right plan, you can quit smoking. Free at becomeanx.org. X, a new way to think about quitting. Brought to you by X and the Ad Council.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids who don't know where they'll get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
I'm Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors, and when I need my sports and entertainment, I listen to the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. If you are walking around at 5:30 a.m., no matter where you are, you might want to remember where you live. Here in Atlanta, close to the Georgia Tech campus, we had a shooting. Mr. Adam Keller, 23 years old, broke a window, climbed into the apartment. He thought he was home. He thought he was breaking into his own apartment.
Right, I heard that.
Dumbest criminals?
Georgia Tech student heard the window crack, proceeded to grab his pistol, hit Mr. Keller in the chest. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
You know, those Georgia Tech students are engineers, so they real accurate. They real accurate with their aim. He probably calculated it. It'll be 13.8 feet.
It's just, you know, the world is just...
With a muzzle velocity of 74 pounds
this is
of
funny.
pressure.
Now, you know, I don't really know if this guy was drunk. They haven't come out. But you just have to figure he has to be on something.
At 5 o'clock?
They said he had already broken into a home
across
a couple
the street,
of blocks back. And I guess he got in there and went to the fridge and realized, oh, these people are vegan. This is not my house.
Where's that pulled pork sandwich?
I eat meat.
Where's that half a sub?
He left that apartment and went a couple more blocks. I mean, I'm thinking you're probably on something more than alcohol at this point. You break into another apartment where 3 Georgia Tech students live. One of them gets their handgun. I guess when they said freeze, he kept moving. He shot him in the chest. He is in critical condition at the hospital. We hope that he does recover. 23 years old. Big Kenny, Ms. Desire, have you ever lost that much consciousness to where you just totally... There's one thing to forget where your keys are. Maybe you parked in the biggest parking lot and forgot what lane your car is in. Can you really forget where you live?
I'm going to take this real quick. Let me get this real quick. I got to. About 3 weeks ago, I went to the baseball game.
That's 21 days. That would have
to let you know, I'm still super irresponsible. Because I was going to tell an in college story, but she's
right
got
now.
She said 21 days ago. Okay.
I'm still making bad decisions.
Yes. Me and a homeboy from Hawaii, he came home. We didn't have anything to do. He was like, hey, let's go to the baseball game. I'm like, great. He's like, we're going to the 755 Club. Can I say that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we went there.
You already did.
I know. Oops.
I've been there.
It's nice. Okay,
yes,
so it didn't help that people started recognizing who I was. So I had everybody and their mama buying me drinks. I had white girls sharing drinks with me and all kind of stuff. So by the end of the night, I don't remember how I made it way across the baseball field. Like, thank God I wasn't driving.
Speaking of pictures coming out later, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's probably gonna be a lot.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot.
Book.
I have no recollection.
So this can be a common thing.
It can happen. No,
this is
no, it is not a common thing. Maybe once a year when I'm mommy free and I don't have anything going on and I'm not driving,
right?
Which is very rare. And yeah,
And there's a lot of intoxication going on at Braves games.
Hey, man.
Because people go there to drink. It's not like
everywhere. People were they were just buying drinks left and right.
I always wonder, remember football season, Sports Jock, when the LSU fan put his thing on the face of another fan, the Tennessee fan or something.
The Alabama fan.
The thing.
You know, he got
potted
arrested
plant.
for that.
What do you think? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm always amazed at where's this dude's friends, because I'm inclined to believe you didn't get that loaded by yourself. If you did, you need a recovery program. You know what I'm saying? But you get that loaded with some people. Maybe they did the normal thing and went and passed out wherever they were, or went home like they should have been. And this dude just ended up, stumbling through the streets, breaking. And then who breaks a window to get even into their own home? You know what I mean? You got a lot of problems going on there, sir.
Yeah.
This just shit. I hope this was a wake up call.
But this was twice too.
A very painful.
Not the first time.
Twice in the same night.
In the same night.
On the same journey, he broke into two apartments. He has been charged with 2 counts of criminal trespassing and criminal damage to property in the second degree. The college student who shot him, no charges will be charged against him, and rightfully so.
Come in my house if you want to.
And the Georgia Tech student is letting you know we are armed and dangerous around this campus.
Not the nerds that you think we are.
We're not those engineers anymore. We will protect ourselves.
and can you imagine what it feels like to wake up with a serious chest wound from a gunshot, and they be standing over you going, hey, you got to go to jail for this.
If you wake up.
Yeah, I mean, and then you still got to do jail time. Wow.
And what about the call that went to your parents? Because if you're 23 years old.
Man.
Next of kin.
Your parents fly down, and this is the story they have to come get you with.
How embarrassing.
Can you imagine his mom like, you just like your daddy? I swear, I can't take you nowhere. See, that's what I'm talking about. You act just like your dad.
You are cut
always breaking in places trying to go to sleep.
But
that's crazy.
That was a crazy story. I had to talk about that because when I read it, maybe if it was just one home, I would have been okay and left the story alone.
There was 2.
But you went and broke into a second home and got yourself shot.
The moral of the story, enroll in summer school, people.
Well, we'll be back right after this break. We're going to talk about the new college football playoff system.
Questions, comments, observations, give us a call, 888-926-7562, thesportsjock.com.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Honey, I'm home. I've got a surprise for you.
Get that filthy, disgusting tire out of my living room. You're on my favorite rug.
Calm down. You're going to love this.
What? Whoa. The goldfish bowl.
I won't run over them. Relax.
You roll that tire right back out of here.
Relax. It's all part of my master plan to save us money.
This is not going to be our coffee table. Don't even think about putting a piece of glass on top.
No, honey. This is a reminder to keep our tires properly inflated so we can save money on gas.
Can't we just tie a string around our fingers?
Sweetie, properly inflated tires could save us more money at the pump than a week's worth of gas.
You're getting tire tracks on my love seat.
Exactly. To remind us that we love saving gas with properly inflated tires.
What's wrong with the sticky note on the dashboard?
Discover smarter ways to save hundreds of dollars on gas and help the environment, too, at the Alliance to Save Energy's website, drivesmarterchallenge.org.
Hey, let's put the sticky note on the tire.
Hi, we're talking to real smokers about quitting. Tell me when you smoke and why you smoke.
Eat, cigarette, kids, cigarette, dinner, another cigarette.
One on my way to lunch, one after lunch.
And another cigarette, and another cigarette.
Have you tried to quit?
Yes. I become angry.
It ain't that easy. You can't just quit cold turkey. I tried.
What would you do different?
Actually having a plan and thinking it through.
You have to relearn how to live your life without a cigarette in your hand.
With the right plan, you can quit smoking. Free at becomeanx.org. X, a new way to think about quitting. Brought to you by X and the Ad Council.
I'm Ed Smart, father of a child who was abducted.
I'm John Walsh. Like Ed, I also know the terror of having a child who was kidnapped. But now we have wonderful technology to aid in this battle.
It's called the Amber Alert. It's an early notification system to the public when every second counts.
Amber Alert is a partnership. We want to thank you, the public, broadcasters, transportation, and law enforcement. Amber Alert really works.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. The BCS is almost dead in 2014. College football will start a playoff system. The commissioners last week came to agreement in making a 4-team playoff system in which they will vote for the 4 teams. They will auction off the championship game, much like the NFL does the Super Bowl. And I'm going to just go on. I'm going to go on my tirade here, Big Kenny, Miss Desire. I figured that this was already in place. Isn't this what you've been doing, voting for the 2 teams that are going to play in the championship game and making money? I've been a big supporter of not paying kids, but if you're going to do this and you're going to start auctioning off games and you're going to create more games, not long ago I was in college and we played 11 games and then you played a bowl game, which was 12. Now you have 12 regular season games already, which I thought that was the playoffs. You know, you created the championship system for every conference, and now you're saying a 4-team playoff system, which will get these kids up to playing almost an NFL season. Right. 14, 15 games at this point. Now you have a committee. Isn't that what the BCS, Kenny, am I missing something in this? Wasn't that a committee that was voting who is ranked high enough to be? So now instead of having the top 2 teams, you're just taking the top 4 teams?
And I think for me, everything eventually boils down to the bottom line.
Money.
And money, right. So you're asking these kids to make the sacrifice of playing those extra games. And a lot of people would say, well, you're being compensated with room, board, and education. Well, a lot of these people are playing this sport with aspirations and great expectation of going to the NFL, and they have the skills and they're expected to go to the next level. Those extra games could cause them injury.
Correct.
Those extra games could cause them some sort of
it only takes one game.
Right. It only takes one game to cause you an injury that may ruin the rest of your career in football. So do you start to compensate these athletes for playing these extra games with extra because you can't give them extra room and board. You can't, do you give them extra food? It doesn't make any sense. The universities, the networks, everybody's making billions of dollars. Let's not be confused like this is a couple of dollars for me, you get a few dollars. Right. This is a multi-billion dollar business at the college level. And now they're going to take what was already these teams play, we vote, and the 2 best teams go to the national championship into some, let's get 3 or 4 more games out of the season. We'll give it another stupid name, the ramen noodle cheese and broccoli bowl, sponsored by Tampax. You know what I mean? And then people will complain about that too.
They did say that they wouldn't call it a bowl.
Oh.
Like that makes a big difference.
Okay,
you're still going to sell the bowl to someone.
Right.
They just won't be entitled to naming it a certain bowl. They wouldn't decide on how they would rotate it. They've been rotating the national championship game to just the 4 major bowls. So each city of the bowl got a different game for the national championship. What's interesting is you didn't solve the problem that people had with the BCS in the first place, which is the voting. So now instead of the number 3 team in the country complaining, now the number 5 team in the country is going to complain that, hey, I should have been in the top 4. So where is the playoff system helping in any way?
And that's just the point. You have the top 4 schools. So those are the 4 that are making the most noise. So those are the squeaky wheels that will get the oil. The people out of the top 5, you might be complaining, but man, your money ain't really.
But it gives those teams chances to compete in the championship, though, right? A better chance. No?
You could say a better chance. It it just offers a chance. I mean, to me, the whole BCS thing was broken anyway, and I think they've taken it and put a Band-Aid on it. They set a splint on a badly broken arm and use some really colorful tape on it, hoping that makes you think that it'll heal right. But different teams are going to complain, and with them auctioning this off, it really starts to look like whoever has the bread makes the rules.
Yeah, because now something like that, as a parent, now I'm ready for you to start maybe giving my son something.
Yeah.
I need something now. When I start, like you just said, and I said earlier, when you start talking about, we're going to auction it off, so everybody's making money now. Now the cities, the stadiums, Jerry Jones is definitely going to throw his wallet on the table. Bring it to Dallas. I'll pay you whatever to come down there.
All of the bowl games should come to Dallas now.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Everything, it's the Dallas Bowl, sponsored by Ramen Noodles and Tempeh.
Yeah, I can get you 100,000 people.
And we got the biggest jumbo screen, and everybody can come here, and we can accommodate all of your fans.
Right.
And, who knows what they'll start doing next. It's Alabama, Auburn, so we'll set up one side for nothing but Auburn fans, and we're going to have a special Alabama this. And just let them play. Let the best people.
And then
go to
being
the
an ex-college football player, now you're
long time ago. Long.
Yeah, just in case you're just
they
now
were still
tuning
wearing
in.
leather helmets when the sports jock played.
If you're just now tuning in, we're talking about the BSC Presidential Committee approved a 12-year plan.
BCS.
Excuse me, for National College Football Championship, and it is beginning 2014 season. So.
Yeah, and you can say what you want about my. I left college undefeated, sir.
Woohoo!
Hey,
Yeah,
okay.
The Auburn Tigers.
Okay.
Okay,
you can bring that up,
War
right?
Eagles.
That's what I'm saying. You left undefeated, but when you played, there were like 3 teams, and the first team lost, and then y'all played a tired team and won
the same day.
Yeah, it's the same day. Like right after they played, they got a drink of water and got back out on the field, and it wasn't quite the same 4-team playoff system then.
Well, I wanted to see how what the fans thought about this college playoff system. So I sent the bad producer out to the streets to see what you had to say.
Taking it to the streets for the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy, Conway Twitty. I have with me
Ryan Leach.
Ryan, how you doing?
Doing well, thanks.
Hey, Ryan, how is the new playoff system in college football going to work out? Is it going to be good or bad? Why or why not?
I support it. I think it's, playing it on the field is a good idea. I think it'll leave less questions to be answered at the end of the year, so I think it'll work out well.
Less questions answered. Great possibility, Ryan, because now when you look at the end of the year, it will grab that third team that might be undefeated and give it a chance. So it works as long as it's a clear – and I thought it worked this year, the BCS. And it only works like once every 10 years. Because the 2 clear-cut teams in college football this year were LSU and Alabama. That was, I think, in anybody's mind, the game that everybody wanted to see. You do now get the 4 teams. So the Boise State, who I feel like over the last 5, 6, 7 years should get a chance. It'd be good to see how they weigh in against the major competition on a playing field. So it does give a chance to clear it up somewhat.
What do you think will happen if a player the same caliber of a RG3, same caliber of a Cam Newton, one of those caliber players gets into one of those extended seasons and in one of those playoff games breaks an ankle, dislocates a shoulder,
or has rhabdomyolysis,
and now this dude misses the NFL draft.
Correct.
What do you think the uproar will be behind something like that? This man was he was in prime position to go number 1 overall.
Well, you risk that anytime you have a bowl game.
Yep. But you risk it for 12 games, even with the championship game before. Now you're risking it. What should have been your championship game only gets you to one more game. And that game could be the one that, bam, man, this should have been my conditioning time. I should have been getting myself ready for the combines. But no, I'm out here earning my university money. I'm out here earning the stadium money, and I got hurt. And so now I get a jersey and a little trophy and all of that. And I'm still looking for a job.
Well, I think the only thing they can put in place to help guys out is they can't have that 2, 3, 4 week layoff like they do for bowl games. They're going to have to go right into the playoffs. It's going to have to be, we played the championship game, now we go play these 2 games. It can't be, well, we're going to play the day after Christmas, and then we're going to play middle of January. You
Why
can't
would
drag
they
it out.
change that, though?
Well, this is the first time, so
anything can change.
They hopefully they will understand that, because D1, D2, D3 levels, they do have playoff systems, but they do go right as the season ends. So that would help a lot.
I'm amazed. We were having this conversation earlier this morning, me and the tall lady over in the production booth, about how it amazes me how the people who do all of the organizing these bowl games have no idea, it seems like, what it takes to be an athlete. So you'll let somebody end their season in December,
correct,
and then play their championship game
5
in
weeks
early
later.
February. You know what I mean? Like, they're supposed to be ready and give the world an excellent competitive contest with 5 weeks of sitting around doing block and dummy drills and all of that stuff. And then they wonder why the game's a little slow, or they wonder why somebody gets hurt. So I don't know who organizes all of this stuff, but they don't seem to be the most informed people sometimes.
Yeah, I've always felt like the championship game should be in sequence with the season, and then you can do the bowl games. But anytime you take 3, 4, or 5 weeks off from playing a college football, any game, you're going to be rusty. And the games are slower when I watch them in the bowl. So let's see what someone else had to say on this.
Taking it to the streets for the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy, Conway Twitty. I have with me
Harrison Spires.
How you doing, Harrison?
I'm doing great.
The college football decided to go with a playoff system. Is that going to be good or bad? Why or why not?
Well, I think what they've done thus far is a poor attempt to implement a playoff system. Something more along the lines of what the NFL has would be, at least I believe, would be a better system if college football could have something along those lines, and we'd be able to see what everybody wants, a legit playoff system.
Well, the one thing I have to give college football a little leeway from the standpoint that the fans have been calling for this. Every year, especially that team that gets left out, their fans seem to protest and hit the social media playoff system. They've kind of given us what we wanted for some of us as fans. So now we have to see how this shapes up. I have always said, Big Kenny, Miss Desire, if they wanted to do something for the college player, they need to set aside money for each year that a person participates on the team. So take a guy, he stays 4 years, you allot, just say $10,000. You play that, you letter that season, you get $10,000. Upon graduation, if you graduate from here, you'll receive that $40,000.
I think that's excellent.
I think that's a good idea.
I think that shows on both ways, because like most college people that I know leaving college, that startup cash to start your life, to wait on that job, to be able to leave here and go to another city and get an apartment and hunt for a job, that's when that kid, don't give it to them, because all they're going to do is blow it in college.
Right.
You start giving them that extra money in college.
He's still getting kickbacks from alumni in college. So, you don't really need the money then.
But I think that would, because first of all, it would solve two issues. It would solve players getting some kind of compensation for the money that they are grossing, and 2, it will give them more incentive to graduate.
And then, I teach a comedy class, and the majority of people who take my class, I've graduated over 200 some odd students, and maybe 12 of those students are still participating after they graduate. Most of them, it's a one-time shot. I do it. I cross it off my bucket list. Most people who play college athletics aren't going pro.
No, they're
so
not.
they need that cash for that startup to go get my job type of lifestyle. So, all of that, they can go pro one day, that's not guaranteed.
No, you have usually about 25 kids per class, seniors, juniors, and maybe 4 out of that 25, 3 might even touch an NFL field, and maybe 2 will last long enough to make money. So I always thought that would have been a great idea to implement and really help the graduation. Help the graduation rate.
Mine is a terrible thing to waste.
This dude has blown my eardrum out, I tell you. We're going to go to break, and we're going to go to break. Big Kenny, give him that number.
888-926-7562, thesportsjoc.com, where the bad producer shines.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
I'm Ed Smart, father of a child who was abducted.
I'm John Walsh. Like Ed, I also know the terror of having a child who was kidnapped. But now we have wonderful technology to aid in this battle.
It's called the Amber Alert. It's an early notification system to the public when every second counts.
Amber Alert is a partnership. We want to thank you, the public, broadcasters, transportation, and law enforcement. Amber Alert really works.
This moment of uncontrollable laughter was made possible by a 32-year-old man with little to no coordination attempting to execute a simple cartwheel. His name is Sergeant Warner, but young James, our laughing friend here, simply calls him Dad. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, we're talking to real smokers about quitting. Tell me when you smoke and why you smoke.
Eat, cigarette, kids, cigarette, dinner, another cigarette.
One on my way to lunch, one after lunch.
And another cigarette, and another cigarette.
Have you tried to quit?
Yes. I become angry.
It ain't that easy. You can't just quit cold turkey. I tried.
What would you do different?
Actually having a plan and thinking it through.
You have to relearn how to live your life without a cigarette in your hand.
With the right plan, you can quit smoking. Free at becomeanx.org. X, a new way to think about quitting. Brought to you by X and the Ad Council.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids who don't know where they'll get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
And now back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. As we went to break, we were talking about the new college football playoff system that will go in effect in 2014. The committee needing 2 years to set the rules and parameters on how this is going to work, and probably to calm down some of the college presidents and athletic directors that probably were against this in the first place, but it is here now. They have voted on it. 14 playoff system will start in 2014. We have La on the line. She wants to comment on this. La, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning, Sports Doc, Miss Desire, and Big Kenny.
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I had a question for both Wayne and Miss Candy. Wayne and Miss Desire. So my question for Wayne was if you feel that the collegiate players should possibly get this bonus at the end of their 4-year career with, whatever denomination of money, $40,000, I believe is the number that you said. Do you also feel that they should possibly get the stipend during, their time frame when they're there? That was a possible suggestion as well.
When you say stipend when they're there.
Well, I believe that one of the articles I read said something to the effect that basically $155 million or something like that is generated from, these collegiate players and, what have you. And you're saying that basically based on this new system that they're utilizing, they should give back to the athlete at the end of their collegiate career to kind of give them a leg up on, starting their basically their life, their professional life.
Yeah, I don't know the number. I was just throwing $10,000 out as a number to kind of make it a round figure based on it needs to be a standard number for all colleges. But definitely some schools make more money than others, so you kind of have to be careful with that because you can't make it $20,000 at Florida State and then make it $50,000 at Ohio State. It kind of has to stay where every Division I school program offers that same amount of money, and that's why I said upon graduation, because Big Kenny made a great point that you're talking about 98% of these players are just going to go to the workforce. So you need to promote graduating and that money, some players are going to get more. Some kids are only going to play 3 years, maybe come back a couple of years later after they try to go pro. You still are able to get that money for the time that you actually played for the school. So
and now sports
generated funds for them.
You generated those funds, so it will be over time. It will amass to a nice sum of money that the college is kicking back. You have to imagine if you can get 20 kids to graduate, and it's $40,000 per kid. That's like $800,000.
But wouldn't that become diluted at some point? Think about this. You've got a kid, and I keep using RG3 and what was the dude from Stanford that just came out? Andrew Luck, right.
Mm-hmm.
Say they go, my program's producing $7 billion a season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now Boise State, you guys might be producing $30 million. We're doing $7 billion. And all you giving me is $10,000 a year.
Right.
I want a percentage of the $7 billion. I think we ought to split up some of that profit. I mean, maybe people will definitely start saying things like that. If we're going to pay them anything, we're going to have to start paying them what they're worth.
But if you don't make it a standard rate, then you get into
it costs more money.
It costs $8,000 to go to Georgia, and it costs $40,000 to go to Stanford.
Right.
I mean, you can get into all those kind of things.
And still the smaller schools would be saying, but I have to pay this guy $10,000 for playing on this team when our program only generates, it's easy.
That's why I said
Texas A&M.
You have to set a number that is fair on both sides. Because always remember, your college program, a lot of it, college money is set off its alumni. So it's not necessarily set off what you do on the field. People love college football. That's why it produces so much, because you're always that college alumni. That never changed. You don't leave cities and stop being a fan of your college. That's where you go. You go to those games when you want to go see a college football game, and that's who you support. So I'm not saying any number, a hard number. I'm saying find that nice number, at least to get something started that will promote both. We are giving back to people who come here and play for us, and something to get them to want to graduate. That's really what I
That's the
want to
important
see.
part.
And
Yeah.
I want to
saying-
see more graduation. So whatever it can be $5 that you knew you was going to get, something that will make you
An
want to
incentive.
come back to school and graduate, and something that you can grab onto as a college, and see that the kids are getting something other than, like you said, room and board.
And, well, I'm saying, Sports Jock, it's got. I would imagine it has to be based on the amount of money that your program generates, because to make it equitable, a program like Georgia State just got a football team.
Mm-hmm.
And so their program isn't making any money. So to be able to pay their players, they probably have to pay $500
Mm-hmm.
for every player. But, you know, the University of Georgia, if their players get $500, that's ridiculous.
But you can classify it just like you classify Division I, Division II.
Oh, okay.
You
There
have
we
it
go.
all
Yeah,
broken
that-
down.
okay.
You know, there's 100 schools on the same level. Those
Right.
people pay a certain amount. And then
okay.
your
All
team,
right.
if it gets to a certain point, you're at the A level.
Right,
So this
right.
is what you have to start doing.
Now that makes sense.
You know,
more
so
to me.
it just start somewhere. You know, so I understand what you're saying now, but Kenny,
Right.
Yeah, it would have to be done like they already have it broken down.
Right,
Division
right.
I, Division I, Double A, and all that to make it even.
Super scrubs, dudes who really ought to be playing in high school, that
Right.
kind of thing. Right.
So, Ms. Law, did that answer your question?
That did. Thank you so much. And with that being said, Miss Desire, I believe that you have a young son that plays football. So are you in agreement with your co-host in regard to how they feel about, the BCS situation?
We'll answer that when we come right back.
Yeah, we're going to go to commercial, and we'll be back and let Ms. Desire answer that question.
It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live when I'm alive.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Honey, I'm home. I've got a surprise for you.
Get that filthy, disgusting tire out of my living room. You're on my favorite rug.
Calm down. You're gonna love this.
What?
Whoa.
The goldfish bowl.
I won't run over them. Relax.
You roll that tire right back out of here.
Relax. It's all part of my master plan to save us money.
This is not going to be our coffee table. Don't even think about putting a piece of glass on top.
No, honey. This is a reminder to keep our tires properly inflated so we can save money on gas.
Can't we just tie a string around our fingers?
Sweetie, properly inflated tires could save us more money at the pump than a week's worth of gas.
You're getting tire tracks on my love seat.
Exactly. To remind us that we love saving gas with properly inflated tires.
What's wrong with the sticky note on the dashboard?
Discover smarter ways to save hundreds of dollars on gas and help the environment too at the Alliance to Save Energy's website, drivesmarterchallenge.org.
Hey, let's put the sticky note on the tire.
Hi, we're talking to real smokers about quitting. Tell me when you smoke and why you smoke.
Eat, cigarette, kids, cigarette, dinner, another cigarette,
One on my way to lunch, one after lunch.
and another cigarette, and another cigarette.
Have you tried to quit?
Yes, I become angry.
It ain't that easy. You can't just quit cold turkey. I tried.
What would you do different?
Actually having a plan and thinking it through.
You have to relearn how to live your life without a cigarette in your hand.
With the right plan, you can quit smoking. Free at becomeanx.org. X, a new way to think about quitting. Brought to you by X and the Ad Council.
I'm Ed Smart, father of a child who was abducted.
I'm John Walsh. Like Ed, I also know the terror of having a child who was kidnapped. But now we have wonderful technology to aid in this battle.
It's called the Amber Alert. It's an early notification system to the public when every second counts.
Amber Alert is a partnership. We want to thank you, the public, broadcasters, transportation, and law enforcement. Amber Alert really works.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for
Wayne Gandy.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Show me.
Live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Candy. As we went to break, we had a caller, Miss La. She wanted to know, Miss Desire, I guess on this issue, what's your stance having a child who plays football with the possibility of them going to college?
I think the best answer for me to say is that I do have a son who plays, and it's easier for a child to, when they're playing more excessively than what they normally would, to break something. Like my son just broke his foot a couple of months ago playing on the slide. He didn't want to let go of his ice cream. He fell down the slide and broke his foot. And, that very well could have determined if he was going to play football this summer, next summer, or years to come. As far as the stipend is concerned, I think that if they did incorporate that into the movement, that it should be, they give you an incentive. What better way to have an incentive to make you want to do something that you already love doing and you're getting something else for it. So I'm firsthand for that.
And the graduation thing is the key. You're
absolutely.
not just getting the money for going there.
Exactly. I totally agree.
You have to
graduate
before you can receive these funds. Yeah. And without throwing out any numbers, I'm quite sure the graduation rate will double because some guys will, even if they left early and didn't make it, they would hurry back like thinking, okay, I got 12 classes left, and then I can get this certain amount of money.
But that would need to be the con of that is if you quit before you finish in this particular time frame, it's gone. Like
Not quit. You just left early. A junior that left early to try to go to the NFL.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But I'm saying, like, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
If they went on to further their career and what they're actually doing, that's the same thing as going to a job and saying, hey, I'm in school. What does this do to help you? And you're going to pay me to go to school.
Correct.
So I understand that.
I honestly believe that the only reason I would be in favor of students getting money after they graduate is because the universities are squeezing them for these extra games.
Correct.
Other than that, I think that I know what a college education costs. I've been to college. I got a child in college now. Mm-hmm. So I know what it costs. And to have the cost of going to school deferred because you're an athlete, I think is a great benefit to the athlete, to the athlete's family, and everybody that has to be responsible for the burden of the cost of that education. So if they were still playing regular schedules, I would say take your room and board, take your degree that you're going to get for free, and get out there and be thankful that it didn't cost you anything.
And that's what I said earlier. Before they started all this playoff system, I was truly one of those guys that stood on the college education is enough. But if you're going to start all this playoff system and start talking about we're auctioning off sites –
everybody's trying to get something out of it.
Which means that, you got these silent bids.
Gresham Park will be having the Chick-fil-A Bowl.
For, you got these silent bids for $500 million and stuff like that. Then
the Dubai Bowl.
Yeah, it's
actually,
time
there is something going on in Dubai. What's going on in Dubai right now?
You know that people are going to start. I mean, people with big money, it would be the Japan Shrimp Bowl. I mean, because we can afford to have it here. Let's have it here.
Let's have it there. So, college football playoff system 2014. We would something that we haven't touched but has been going on here, unfortunately, in Georgia. Miss Amy Copeland, the lady with the bacteria infection.
The flesh-eating bacteria?
Yeah, from the zip line. After basically 9 weeks in the hospital, she'll be going to a rehabilitation clinic. As some of you may know and some of you may not, Ms. Copeland was zip lining here in the Georgia area. The line cut her. She got a bacteria infection that usually is harmless, but it affected her to the point that they had to amputate her left leg at the hip, her right foot, and both her hands.
Wow.
She's 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm quite sure even just leaving the hospital for her and her family is a huge day, because I'm quite sure at some point her not only the family, but anyone involved, the doctors probably felt like she would not make it. And even with the amputations, both hands, right foot, that's a lot of body parts.
Man, ain't life random? You know what I'm saying? This lady is out ziplining and gets a flesh-eating bacteria. Wilt Chamberlain sleeps with 10,000 chicks, doesn't even get the sniffles. You know what I'm saying? It just seems so unfair that she's out enjoying herself and now she's missing her hands.
24 years old.
Yeah. You know, that is horrible.
And confined to a wheelchair.
Yeah, but still enthusiastic about living life. That's my thing.
That's the major part.
She hadn't let that deter her at all. She's very anxious. But I guess when you're faced with your own mortality that way, everything is a plus after that.
You see things differently.
Right. just happy to be alive.
Yeah, so we just wanted to say congratulations to her, Miss Amy Copeland, because, some of us look at that and to lose the ability to walk or even hold anything, both hands, that's wild. But we're going to go to break, and we come back, we're going to have the fastest man in an interview, Mr. Doug Fireball Turnbull, coming up with the NASCAR report. We'll be back right after this.
TheSportsJOC.com, 888-926-7562.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Honey, I'm home. I've got a surprise for you.
Get that filthy, disgusting tire out of my living room. You're on my favorite rug.
Calm down. You're gonna love this.
What?
Whoa.
The goldfish bowl.
I won't run over them. Relax.
You roll that tire right back out of here.
Relax. It's all part of my master plan to save us money.
This is not going to be our coffee table. Don't even think about putting a piece of glass on top.
No, honey. This is a reminder to keep our tires properly inflated so we can save money on gas.
Can't we just tie a string around our fingers?
Sweetie, properly inflated tires could save us more money at the pump than a week's worth of gas.
You're getting tire tracks on my love seat.
Exactly. To remind us that we love saving gas with properly inflated tires.
What's wrong with the sticky note on the dashboard?
Discover smarter ways to save hundreds of dollars on gas and help the environment too at the Alliance to Save Energy's website, drivesmarterchallenge.org.
Hey, let's put the sticky note on the tire.
Hi, we're talking to real smokers about quitting. Tell me when you smoke and why you smoke.
Eat, cigarette, kids, cigarette, dinner, another cigarette.
One on my way to lunch, one after lunch.
And another cigarette, and another cigarette.
Have you tried to quit?
Yes. I become angry.
It ain't that easy. You can't just quit cold turkey. I tried.
What would you do different?
Actually having a plan and thinking it through.
You have to relearn how to live your life without a cigarette in your hand.
With the right plan, you can quit smoking. Free at becomeanx.org. X, a new way to think about quitting. Brought to you by X and the Ad Council.
I'm Ed Smart, father of a child who was abducted.
I'm John Walsh. Like Ed, I also know the terror of having a child who was kidnapped. But now we have wonderful technology to aid in this battle.
It's called the Amber Alert. It's an early notification system to the public when every second counts.
Amber Alert is a partnership. We want to thank you, the public, broadcasters, transportation, and law enforcement. Amber Alert really works.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. If I seem a little loud, it's because my producer has told me I need to yell because he don't know how to do his job.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I tell you what, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Downset Hut is sounding real good to me. I might need to try my pads out again because these people tell me I can't be heard today. I'm not speaking loud enough. Hold on, let me take a little swig of my.
What you got in that cup?
Sports Jock,
like
the game in the 2 seasons that you've been out, the game of football has changed a bit. I would suggest you just speak a little louder.
Talk louder.
Just go ahead and talk a little bit louder. I don't even want you to throw your pads back on and make them look bad like that on the field. You know what I'm saying? They not ready for you.
Oh,
you invisible
man.
to most of these dudes right now.
I
So
heard that. Well, a man that never needs to be told how to speak is on the line. My favorite person in NASCAR, Mr. Doug Fireball Turnbull. Fireball, are you there?
Hey, yes, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you fine. You were louder when you spoke louder, and you were softer when you were not speaking as loud. That's my input.
Well, thank you for coming on, Fireball. First of all, before we talk about Brad Keselowski's win in Kentucky, as you know and most of the country know, it's been real hot lately. Cool. And I would just like you to walk us through how the heat affects not only the track but the driver in a NASCAR race.
Yeah, great question. First off, even if it's just average heat, even if it's a day where it's in the 70s or 80s, just a normal summer, spring day, whatever, it gets super hot in those race cars. The engines radiate heat into the race car. There's not a regular air conditioning like we have, like you have in your Escalade, or like, what you drive the Escalade, isn't that still what you're driving?
No, that was Big Kenny.
The Escalade was his Escalade was high school, Doug.
They don't have the regular deal going, and they're decked out in that fire suit and everything. So, and it's just hot, you're in close quarters. So what they have is a hose. It's just an air hose that is hooked to the back of the helmet and blows cold air in on the driver. Now, what's the problem with the air hose? Well, what if it comes undone? Then the driver is up the creek without a paddle. Temperatures in the car, probably get, I'm just guessing, around 120 degrees. And even with that air hose blowing on them, drivers lose pounds during a race. I've heard 10 pounds before. That may be a lot, but drivers lose several pounds during a race just because of sweating. So they're always staying hydrated. They have a water bottle that during caution flags they can run up through their helmet and drink, and sometimes they even eat during cautions. And then on the racetrack, the hotter it is, generally the more slick it is on the racetrack. When it's colder, just think about, ice melts when it's hot and it stays frozen when it's cooler. It's kind of like how the tires react to the racetrack. It's just more slippery and sticky and hard to deal with when it's a hot day. So at this past weekend in Kentucky, these guys were dealing with track temperatures that were, the on-track temperature hotter than the actual air temperature. The track temperature was, somewhere like 108, 110 at least. Mm-hmm. And, the air temperature was around 100. And so it was a hot, hot weekend, and they were lucky that race was at night.
So how many sets of tires, say it's 95 degrees out, how many sets of tires in a 500-mile race would a driver typically go through?
And I don't think it ups, or I don't know how many they went through in this race. They really base when they get tires on how long a fuel run is. And this racetrack had really rough pavement, and so they wanted tires every chance they got. So every time there was a caution, they went and got at least 2 tires, not changing all 4. It really just when the track is slick, it more affects how much those tires grip. So all those drivers were going to want tires, even if it was 30 degrees outside, because Kentucky has old pavement that chews up the tires. But if it being hotter, it made them want the tires to be even more. But I don't know what the exact number was. I can't remember how many pit stops they made. I would say most guys got at least 2 tires. They made a tire-changing pit stop at least 6 times in that race, 5 or 6 times.
And you said Kentucky has old pavement. Do you mean the pavement is old, or do you mean that the material is different on other tracks than in Kentucky?
Oh, no. It just Kentucky opened in 2000, I believe, and it has not been repaved since then. So just like Atlanta Motor Speedway, which hasn't been repaved since 1997, generally when a track has pavement that's about 10 years old, that's when it really is worn in and people start talking about should we, pay the $1 million or whatever it is. It's actually more than that. But, we paid the high expense to go and dig it all up and lay new pavement down again. And when they do lay new pavement down, the speeds go way up because new pavement has a lot more grip. And so it's high speeds, which is good, but the bad news is that drivers can't use multiple grooves. They're generally driving right behind each other, and, it's harder to pass because there's only one preferred line that has a lot of speed.
So, Fireball, NASCAR doesn't have any kind of mandate that tracks have to be resurfaced?
Not officially, but if you ask most drivers who came up racing short tracks, which do not get repaved every 10 years, or race dirt tracks, which are slick. When a track is not repaved, when it's old pavement like Atlanta is or like Kentucky, it puts the driving more in the driver's hands. It makes it so that the field is not as equal, that the cream rises to the top, that the mechanics that build the best setups rise to the top, and guys like, that really can wheel a race car generally check out. And so unlike what we're going to see at Daytona here this coming weekend, where you have the restrictor plates and everybody's in one pack, and sure, the best driver might win, but a lot of flukes can happen. At Kentucky, just like we saw Brad Keselowski, the dude man had a race car, and he drove to the front. He stayed in the front. He qualified near the front in a backup race car. He drove to the front, chased down the leaders multiple times, and ran away with it.
Fireball, this is Big Kenny. And now, you spoke about the tires and the fuel issues earlier. I know that you and I were tweeting during the race from Kentucky. And
I love that.
Yeah, for a while it was Jimmy Johnson. I dropped my head to retweet something you said. My head comes back up. And Keselowski's running away with it. What happened to Jimmy Johnson that he just not only fell out of the top spot, but fell all the way to number 6?
I think he had a problem on pit road, and that dropped him a little bit back on a restart. And then there was one time where he took 4 tires, and some other guys got ahead of him by taking 2 tires. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's what dropped him back. Also, he had the dominant car. He and Kyle Busch had dominant cars toward the beginning of the race. And as the race wore on, they just weren't the guys anymore. Whereas Keselowski, Denny Hamlin were up there the whole time. Their cars liked the long runs better and just seemed to change with the track conditions as the night wore. Now, think in mind, this race started about 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. or 6:45 p.m. Kentucky time, Central Time, and so it was still a little bit sunny. And then I don't think it got much cooler, but the track changed a little bit through the race, and so they were able to stay at the front. I just think Johnson got behind in traffic, and once you get in traffic, the aerodynamics make it really hard to pass, and he just couldn't do it. Kyle Busch led the majority of the race, but he smacked the wall when he was leading the race, and that affected the handling of his car. He was still able to get a decent finish, but not the finish he needs because he's kind of in wild card trouble right now to make the NASCAR playoffs.
Well, Fireball, it's July 2nd. The year is halfway over.
Yes.
The chase is coming upon us. Which drivers are in trouble making the chase?
Yeah, this is a really exciting deal. And I didn't realize until this morning, until after I sent you that question, by the way, how close it was in the standings as far as making the chase. Here's how you make the playoffs. You finish in the top 10 of the points, no matter how many wins you have. You finish in the top 10 going into the 10-race chase after race 26. Then after that, the drivers between 11th and 20th, the 2 that have the most wins are the ones that make the chase. But you have to be within the top 20 in points and outside of the top 10. So, and if of course there's no drivers with wins, they go who has the highest points. So what you have right now is you have the driver that's 11th in points is Carl Edwards, but he has no wins. The driver that is 12th in points, who and is in the first transferable wild card spot, is Kyle Busch, who's had a lot of bad luck this year, blown motors and stuff like that. The guy that's 13th in points, Paul Menard, has no wins. But then listen to this, guys. The next 3 drivers in points are tied for 14th in the points, and they each have 1 win. So they have to go to their next best statistic, which is top 5, to draw the tiebreaker. So right now, tied for 14th in points are Casey Kane, who had a dreadful start to the season, Ryan Newman, who's slipped of late, and Joey Logano, who, like Ryan Newman, whose name has been all in the news about where he's going to drive next year because he's probably going to get replaced by Matt Kenseth. These 3 guys are tied in the points with the number of wins and their number of points. And then the drivers in the most trouble who we expected to make the chase after a good year last year, Jeff Gordon, who's made the playoffs every year that we've had the chase except for one. Right now he's 18th in points. He is 50 points away from the top 10, and he has no wins. Jeff Gordon needs to win 2 races in the next 2 of the next 9 races, I think, to make the playoffs, and even then he's not a lock.
Great, Jeff Gordon. And real quickly, before we let you go, where is Danica Patrick in all this?
Danica Patrick is not a full-time Sprint Cup Series driver. She runs full-time in the Nationwide Series and then runs select Cup races as a teammate of Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman at Stewart-Haas Racing. She's in the number 10 GoDaddy car in Cup. She's in the number 7 GoDaddy.com car in the Nationwide Series. And in the Nationwide Series, there's been a lot of talk about her kind of getting roughed up by the guys a little bit. But I think it's more just a matter of earning respect on the racetrack, not whether she's a male or a female or not. So Danica's hanging in there and is starting to impress people, but is still not living up to the extremely lofty expectations, which are going to be hard to live up to with all the funding she has.
Well, Fireball, we appreciate you taking the time to come on. You can hit me on well, I don't have a Twitter. Text me next time you're at the race. Just send me a text.
I'll do it, man. I know that your Saturday nights are always really active, so I don't want to disrupt anything over there. So that's why I've, just tweeted Big Kenny, okay?
Big Kenny, you don't have nothing going on Saturday night.
Right. Because I don't have a life. Thanks,
Kenny
Fireball.
was tweeting at me, so I knew the door was open. He opened the door. I stepped through it, man.
Way to get a jab in there, Fireball. Thank you for coming on.
You got it. Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Doug, Fireball, Turnbull. Big Kenny, we got to go out on Saturday night, man. Do something.
Hey, man, you know me, bro. I'm limited to the places I can go. A certain,
all them restraining orders.
All the restraining orders. That little bracelet on my ankle. We can have a house party.
We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show after this.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
In times like these, strangers at your door should be treated cautiously, but unwelcome strangers in your home can be your worst nightmare. Home invasion is a form of armed robbery where criminals break into homes through unlocked or open doors and windows. They even trick people into opening their doors to confront victims face to face. They can be after money and valuables, threaten personal assault, or take members of the family captive. But you can be proactive against these disturbing attacks. Learn how to protect yourself against home invasions. Never open the door to strangers. Secure your home with high-security locks and quality door and window hardware. Consider a home security system and even a dog. It's also a good idea to devise an action plan for your family in case intruders ever do enter your home. To learn more about how to keep your home safe from intruders, visit ncpc.org. That's ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
When crime prevention is your life, your days don't stay quiet for long. What did I tell you? My name? McGruff the Crime Dog. I wear a trench coat.
McGruff, I need help.
That was a concerned citizen. And boy, did she sound concerned.
I'm very concerned.
What did I tell you?
Someone took out a loan in my name. They're pretending to be me and spending my money. I can't understand.
It's called identity theft, and it's growing fast. Safeguard your personal information, like your Social Security, credit card, or bank account numbers. On the phone, online, even around the house, because half of identity theft occurs by someone you think you know. Learn more from the National Crime Prevention Council at ncpc.org. Take it from McGruff. Keep your identity to yourself and take a bite out of crime.
A message from this station, the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the National Crime Prevention Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. We'd like to thank Doug Fireball Turnbull for always joining us on the show. Always great to have him talking NASCAR, hot track. I guess that suit has an air conditioner in it, from what Fireball is saying. A little unit. They kind of use that. They use that. You see some of the college football teams. Some of the sidelines, they have the little thing you can kind of plug into your pads to get some cool air in there. Big Kenny, you were even saying last week that at the University of, is it North Carolina?
University of North Carolina.
They're using
correct.
some kind of new helmet to gauge the effects of concussions or something?
There's a gentleman at the University of North Carolina that has something that he developed called the HIT system.
Right.
And the HIT system measures the impact.
Now, is this true? Because
I've heard of it.
You know at UNC they lie. They have fake classes and all kinds of stuff going on up there.
This actually did happen. This actually,
Yeah.
I mean, their credibility is in question because They developed a system where they put sensors in the football player's helmet, and based on the number of G-forces that are generated when you hit, the computer decides or is able to calculate what the risk is of you continuing to play, and what the risk of your receiving a serious head injury if you go back in the game. So, people say you get a dinger and I just shook it off and went back in. Well, the hit system would say the arbitrary number is 4 Gs. If you register 4 Gs, you have to sit out for maybe 2 plays. And so if you register regardless of how you're feeling at that moment, they pull you out based on the computer calculation.
And Hines Ward, Super Bowl MVP, recently retired Pittsburgh Steeler, he came out against this.
Hines Ward did. It was interesting that with the NFL being under siege now and bombarded with the Players Association wanting to bring litigation against them for the lack of knowledge on how detrimental concussions could be in the football game, they are the ones, the NFL Players Association, that are limiting the use or have stall the use of this technology in the NFL game. And Hines Ward's premise is that there are different people who handle pain differently. Different people take hits differently.
Correct.
So if the arbitrary number is, like I said, 4, and I get a 4, and you pull me out, you could be pulling me out at a critical time when our team could be scoring and going to the playoffs, going to the Super Bowl. You could be pulling me out at a time when I could be breaking a record and getting a bonus. So it, again, breaks down to the bottom line and money. The NFL Players Association, as desperate as they are to prevent a lot of these long-term head injuries, they're not willing to let it affect the players who are playing now trying to get their money up.
Because as a coach, I would rather have Tom Brady with a concussion than Jamarcus Russell healthy.
Right.
I'm just telling you how I'd rather him forget a play than to have somebody that can't do the job.
And that's what I'm saying. It helps for Tom Brady to go to the Super Bowl or in that playoff game, but 5 years after his career has ended, he can't feed himself.
Yeah.
Then that
right, you hire people to feed you.
Right, you hire people to feed you, but still your quality of life has been
Giselle
diminished.
there. I mean, I'm quite sure she can order a great
But
quiche.
I mean, she's a model. How smart can she be?
But she can order quiche.
Excuse you. I'm going to need you to retract
You don't think
that last statement.
Tom, I think her and Tom are expecting a second child, too.
Oh, yeah. Which
So he
means
does
she's
remember
fertile.
something.
Yeah, he remembers something. But I just think that's kind of odd that and I wonder if it's going to affect the litigation against the NFL when they would come and say, well, you have an opportunity to diminish this through being educated about it and putting some protections in place, and you're unwilling to do it. So if you're unwilling to protect yourselves, what burden falls on me to protect you? Right. If you're not willing to do it for yourself, how can we be responsible for protecting you? So I think that's pretty interesting.
But also when you deal with something like this, we all are different out on the field. So what might be a 4, like you said, just using a number, a 4 affect you, a 4 doesn't affect me. It's almost like being a boxer. Some boxers can eat your punches. You hit one guy, it didn't.
That's right. I can eat your punches and your ears.
Right. But I'm saying, there's some guys that can take a good punch.
Right.
Whereas the other guy can't,
And that's Hines. That's Hines
and
Ward's
it's fluctuate.
argument.
That everybody, your 4 is not my 4.
Right. Exactly. And that's where Hines Ward says the NFL Players Association is drawing its line in the sand. Is your 4 is not my 4. But just like with this bonus system that we discovered or discussed earlier, there's got to be some number where we start.
Correct.
There's got to be some number where we start now. I don't know what 4 Gs feels like, but if it's equivalent to being in a car accident at 30 miles an hour, then I would say that no matter how you handle a hit, that's a pretty good place to start, pulling you off a field to prevent you from being paralyzed or having a concussion or something possibly worse.
Before we go too far in, though, Holyfield, it's their 15th year anniversary. Mike Tyson tweeted, Holyfield's ear would have been much better with barbecue sauce on it. Or, excuse me, his new barbecue sauce on it.
So Holyfield got a new barbecue sauce.
Right.
Now, Mike Tyson, that's adding insult to injury. 15 years ago, I bit off your ear, and now I'm going to make jokes about it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tweet I didn't even know how to tweet.
The real deal barbecue sauce.
Let's hope we make enough money so we can pay his child
support. I was about to say he trying to get his money up.
We're gonna talk a little NBA news. Dwight Howard wants out of Orlando
again.
When we come back from this break.
888-926-7562. SportsJOC.com.
Please remind me. Ball so hard, crazy. Y'all don't know that don't phase. The Nets could go 0 for 82 when I look at you like you look great.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
In times like these, strangers at your door should be treated cautiously. But unwelcome strangers in your home can be your worst nightmare. Home invasion is a form of armed robbery where criminals break into homes through unlocked or open doors and windows. They even trick people into opening their doors to confront victims face to face. They can be after money and valuables, threaten personal assault, or take members of the family captive. But you can be proactive against these disturbing attacks. Learn how to protect yourself against home invasions. Never open the door to strangers. Secure your home with high-security locks and quality door and window hardware. Consider a home security system and even a dog. It's also a good idea to devise an action plan for your family in case intruders ever do enter your home. To learn more about how to keep your home safe from intruders, visit ncpc.org. That's ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
When crime prevention is your life, your days don't stay quiet for long. What did I tell you? My name? McGruff the Crime Dog. I wear a trench coat.
McGruff, I need help.
That was a concerned citizen. And boy, did she sound concerned.
I'm very concerned.
What did I tell you?
Someone took out a loan in my name. They're pretending to be me and spending my money. I can't understand.
It's called identity theft, and it's growing fast. Safeguard your personal information, like your Social Security, credit card, or bank account numbers, on the phone, online, even around the house, because half of identity theft occurs by someone you think you know. Learn more from the National Crime Prevention Council at ncpc.org. Take it from McGruff. Keep your identity to yourself and take a bite out of crime.
A message from this station, the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the National Crime Prevention Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
I'm Steve Nash of the Phoenix Suns. When I need my sports and entertainment, I listen to the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. NBA is hot and heavy, even though the season is over. The Heat are holding the trophy. Free agency started July 1st, which was yesterday. Players can't actually switch teams, I think, until the 10th. But some players have agreed to deals. As we came back from break, you just heard Steve Nash, who is being sought after by the Toronto Raptors, who offered him 3 years, $36 million to come back to Canada. I don't really see Steve needing to leave Arizona. The Phoenix Suns going to the Raptors.
Steve Nash has been in the NBA since they were the pickup league. And he's still getting numbers thrown at him like that.
Right.
To stay and play.
Uh-huh.
That's a bad dude right there.
Well, it seems like a PR move by the Raptors to bring back Canada's favorite son. Them being the only team in Canada that's in the NBA. Steve Nash being from Canada. That kind of money tells me PR. If I'm Nash, I'm trying to find me a team maybe like the Heat or even Memphis Grizzlies, somebody that's maybe end up in the title game at this point in his career. That's what I would be seeking. He has all the other accolades, MVP, Olympics, All-Star games. Going to the Raptors is like going back in time, isn't it?
I mean, it surely could not be about money for him anymore. Like I said, he's been in the NBA for a really, really.
Yeah, and he won his divorce case.
But they're trying to make him
so
the actual face
he good on that.
So, which is meaning you ought to retire now.
But wouldn't that make sense?
Don't push your luck. Anytime you win the divorce case, just bow out gracefully.
But if he's trying to be the face of his home, his home basketball country, I mean, that's something to look forward to. Regardless of the money, it's more of a standpoint of this is where I'm from and this is what I represent.
Yeah, but at 37, 38 years old, Ms. Desire, do you really want to go to a team that's going to win like 8 games?
But I'm saying,
just so you can say, hey, I'm back in Canada.
But sometimes you got to take it with the punches and roll with it. Good, bad, or indifferent.
I don't know. And for some disciplines, certain adages don't apply. When you at the end of a storied NBA career, good, bad, or indifferent ain't in my equation. Right. You know what I'm saying? I need
That's
a ring.
True. They were 17th
I need a ring, or I need to look for another team. If you can't help me get a ring, all the sentimentality in the world is not going to hang a championship banner from our rafters. Right. And now we had a good shot in Phoenix, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Right. When they took Amari Stoudemire out of there, I thought that pretty much, nailed that coffin shut.
Yeah, that made the team really fall apart because that combination of Nash and Amari Stoudemire, who has made the news himself this week, being fined $50,000 by the NBA for a gay slur he had on his Twitter. Apparently, the fan bashed Amari, criticizing him on the Twitter, but if you say something back, it costs you money, Big Kenny.
What is a gay slur? When you don't speak the words clearly, you need to shut up, sissy boy. He didn't enunciate. The bad producers, the good producer sent him a little email like, when you were insulting the gay people, you didn't speak clearly enough.
Stu Jackson, the NBA, I guess, fines guy. He fined him $50,000 for whatever he retaliated with to the fan.
Where does that money go to? Like, whenever they fine them, where does it really go to? Who gets it?
For most leagues,
paying Mark Jackson's
his car
blackmail,
year.
His hush money. That's where it goes.
Keep
the strippers quiet.
I can only speak for the NFL. The team,
they use it for bounties.
The owners,
oh my goodness!
The owners
they used to hurt people with.
The owners would actually choose charities before the season start, and they would take any fine money and send it to those 3 or 4 charities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's how.
That's a good deed,
works.
I guess. And how much do they stick in their pocket for the strippers and the pictures and all that stuff? Do you know? I'm just saying.
Because there ought to be.
I'm still trying to put an investigation together.
There ought to be a fund for that.
I'm sure there is.
I mean,
we just don't know about it.
Because I would have never been in this lifestyle had it not been for the game. So
look, me either.
So where's the game's responsibility in all of this?
Thinking of another guy who's trying to jump ship, Dwight Howard down in Orlando. He once again has threatened the Magic ownership, even though they fired the GM and the head coach. Dwight has told them as of late that he would like to be traded to the Brooklyn Nets. That's the only team he will allow them to trade him to. I don't know if that's because he's hoping to join up forces with Darren Williams, who also may not even be a Net.
I thought he decided to stay.
But it seemed like 2 months ago, Dwight said he was staying. And I guess
he like a fickle girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? I love you. No, we going to break up. Where you going?
You been what?
So
with who?
It seems like even with Stan Van Gundy, which was the storyline of the last half of the season, his relationship with Stan, and Dwight is coming off a back injury, back surgery that he had, still the top center in the NBA. It does seem like he has – and this is why, what a lot of people were talking about when LeBron the TV thing was wrong, but the one thing LeBron didn't do was he never made any noise about leaving. He just left. It wasn't like he was playing his last season and made any promises to anybody. He just left when the season was over. Dwight keeps jumping through Well, send me to L.A. No, well, send me to the Clippers. Well, no, I'm going to stay. Well,
my back hurt. My back hurt real bad. I know I'd have played hard if my back won't hurt.
So I really think he's diminishing his marketability with these kind of actions. But hopefully, I guess he's trying to get into that New York area.
And definitely his reputation as a solid teammate.
Yes, as some that you can actually build around.
Right.
So we're going to go to break. When we come back, I think Miss Desire said
there you go. That's how rumors start.
One of the Jordans have been arrested. We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show after this break.
But your love keeps on coming like a thunderbolt.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
I'm Ed Smart, father of a child who was abducted.
I'm John Walsh. Like Ed, I also know the terror of having a child who was kidnapped. But now we have wonderful technology to aid in this battle.
It's called the Amber Alert. It's an early notification system to the public when every second counts.
Amber Alert is a partnership. We want to thank you, the public, broadcasters, transportation, and law enforcement. Amber Alert really works.
This moment of uncontrollable laughter was made possible by a 32-year-old man with little to no coordination attempting to execute a simple cartwheel. His name is Sergeant Warner, but young James, our laughing friend here, simply calls him Dad. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, we're talking to real smokers about quitting. Tell me when you smoke and why you smoke.
Eat, cigarette, kids, cigarette, dinner, another cigarette.
One on my way to lunch, one after lunch.
And another cigarette, and another cigarette.
Have you tried to quit?
Yes. I become angry.
It ain't that easy. You can't just quit cold turkey. I tried.
What would you do different?
Actually having a plan and thinking it through.
You have to relearn how to live your life without a cigarette in your hand.
With the right plan, you can quit smoking. Free at becomeanx.org. X, a new way to think about quitting. Brought to you by X and the Ad Council.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids who don't know where they'll get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
And now back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. We were talking about recent NBA news. Guys are jumping ship. Some guys are staying put in Boston. KG, the big ticket, has decided to stay on with the Celtics, signing him for 3 years. I'm quite sure that'll be the last 3 years of his career, being 36 years old. He's had a Hall of Fame career already, and he is definitely the engine to that car up in Boston. Ray Allen is being a free agent, so he, being a free agent, is being sought after by the Heat and the Grizzlies, trying to find that outside shooting that Mike Miller gave them that they sometime lack in Miami. The Grizzlies with those big men, Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol, definitely.
Father of the year, Zach Randolph.
Yeah, that Zach Randolph. Are also trying to get Ray. But the Celtics, once again, are trying to. It's funny how after each of the last 2 or 3 seasons, they keep saying, we're going to break this team up. And then it goes back to, well, we're going to bring them back. The big three who've been there for 5 years together of Allen, Garnett, and Paul Pierce pushed the Heat to Game 7 in the playoffs this year. Blake Griffin did sign an extension with the Clippers to stay out there. Chris Paul turned down his offer. He's being a little fickle like Howard. He keeps saying he wants to be somewhere, and then he gets there and decides he don't want to be there either. Big Kenny.
Do you think that for like a Dwight Howard, do you think any of this will ever come back to bite him? A la, remember when Donovan McNabb, you know who I'm talking about. Donovan McNabb used to be a quarterback, played in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that dude. He played with the Washington Redskins, and he got into a real nasty little exchange with the coach up there, and they made him disappear completely. Nobody talked about him. They never showed his face anymore. And do you think that people will just get tired of Dwight Howard's being indecisive and just put him in a corner somewhere, and before you know it, he'll be a remember that dude?
I know that if he ends up with the Brooklyn Nets, they're going to do everything in the world to revive that team, especially moving from New Jersey to Brooklyn, changing the colors, the name. They have new ownership. So they're going to try to make him the new face.
Make it like an R&B group, the Brooklyn Nets, featuring Dwight Howard.
Yeah,
One hit wonder.
they're selling him. We can get you down on Madison Avenue and all that, being in the New York area. So they're not going to let him die at all. In Orlando, he is souring that relationship to the point it might not be anything any PR person can do to salvage his legacy there. So hopefully he'll decide soon, and all this trade rumor can be over, so we can all go to Vegas and bet on who's going to win the NBA championship
More lunch money
next year. Mr. Zaire, as you punch your computer over there, you told me one of Air Jordan's son has gotten in trouble, correct?
Yes, his youngest son, who plays, he's a senior at Central Florida, Sunday was arguing with two women in a hotel driveway at about 2:11 a.m. So you know there's something going on right there. Why are you arguing with two women at the same time? I'm saying
it happens.
Outside of a hotel room. Like,
I usually don't argue with them, though.
Like, who's going to do what? But they said he was very animated, intoxicated, and uncooperative.
With the police.
And very disturbing outside the hotel. So,
Marcus Jordan, 21-year-old point guard for the Central Florida team.
Why is he in Nebraska?
I knew that was coming.
Who does that? Who goes to Nebraska? My dad's Michael Jordan. I play at Central Florida, so for my off time, I'm going to go to Nebraska.
Hey.
You deserve to be locked up, sir.
It's something about that Midwest woman out there. Kobe got caught out there in Denver.
Man, let me tell you something, bro.
I say I'm still doing something
You could fly them to wherever it is you are. I mean, they'd still be from the Midwest. They don't change their demographic point of origin just because you fly them out.
Well, they say a leopard doesn't change its spots.
I mean, that's ridiculous to me. What are you arguing with the police about?
He said he was arguing with two women.
He was arguing with
I'm saying,
two
and
women.
then the police show up, and then you argue with them.
He was animated. He was drunk. I mean, he's young. What do you expect? That's why they say be careful about how much you drink when you're under a certain age.
Mike, you ain't spent no more time than that with your boy.
To work on his pimp game.
You ain't never worked on your pimp game. Well, you from Chicago, Mike. What you gonna do?
What he did, he set something up early, and then he got out and started drinking, and found something at the club. That's what it sounds like, and then he ended up with both of them.
Or either like the Secret Service, he wanted to haggle over price. You know what I mean? I thought it was 85 pesos.
Well, she
or
said
maybe
75.
one was getting paid more than the other.
Yeah, maybe.
They didn't have that form laid
Marcus
out.
Jordan.
Either way it goes, somebody needs to register for Pimp Game 101. Do they teach that in Central Florida?
Oh, man.
That's home trained.
Well, he's had an incident before out in Vegas.
Incorrigible.
He
repeat offender.
Yeah, he went on a gambling spree out in Vegas.
They could have took Pimp Game 101 at North Carolina because they make up classes up there. So I'm sure
Pimp Game 101.
I'm sure his dad took that class and got a good grade for it.
I said it was home training.
Marcus Jordan, get on back to Orlando, man.
Please
Dribble that
hurry.
basketball. Get out of Omaha. We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show after this break. Big Kenny.
888-926-7562, thesportsjoc.com.
the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Go Caleb! Come on, hit a homer, Jesse!
Let's go, guys!
Hey, did you guys know that kids who play sports earn more money when they grow up?
Of course. I knew that.
Hey, did you guys know that kids who read books have a bigger vocabulary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Wow, Jinx. Did you guys know that friendly children have more friends?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's true. I knew that. Did you guys know that winter babies are better at music?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obvious.
Oh, hey, guys. Did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Huh. I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The forest is a treasured and magical place.
Hello, Bambi. Hello, little prince. Hello. Hello there.
But a wildfire can destroy its beauty for a lifetime. It's always wildfire season somewhere in America. Nearly 9 out of 10 wildfires nationwide are caused by the carelessness of humans and could be prevented. But together, we can make a difference.
Watch what I can do.
Help protect the home of our forest friends.
He can call me a flower if he wants to.
To find out more, log on to SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
This message has been brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, the National Association of State Foresters, and the Ad Council.
Come on! You could do it!
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. We were talking NBA, and before we move on, we must address, because we are here, the Sports Jock Show is here in Atlanta. New GM of the Hawks, Danny Ferry.
Danny Ferry.
The Christian Laettner before Christian Laettner at Duke.
Told you he was coming on board.
He has been with the Spurs the last 2 years. Before that, he was with the Cleveland Cavs as their general manager. That's who brought LeBron James there. And he is now here with the Hawks, and it seems that he has already put our favorite star on the shopping block, Mr. Joe Johnson, offering him to the Nets.
I was just about to say, when Danny Ferry comes, you know, sooner or later somebody's going to be taking their talents to South Beach.
So Joe Johnson and his big contract, he's trying to find some way to get it off the Hawks book. Apparently he's in trade talks with the Nets about 4 or 5 guys whose contracts actually end after the 2012-2013 season, which would clear up cap room for next year's free agents. Good move, bad move for the Hawks, Kenny?
First off, I'm not one of those people that tries to imagine what can happen until the possibility of something happening is present.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to pick up Joe Johnson's contract?
Right.
First of all, if you can get rid of him and we can bring somebody in that could help us sell some tickets, that could help us get a little bit deeper than maybe the second round of the playoffs, something like that, I'm all for it. But it's almost a moot point when who's going to pick up Joe Johnson's contract? Who has room in their salary structure for a contract like his?
Right. So, well, the Nets, which – like you said, you just have to think about the potential. The Nets in the next coming months have the potential to have Joe Johnson, Darren Williams, and Dwight Howard on the same team in Brooklyn that is it's not the big three like Boston or Miami, but it would be a formidable three people because you do have a point guard who can penetrate.
What are the Nets going to do to take on Dwight Howard, Darren Williams, and Joe Johnson's contracts? Are they going to have a bake sale or something like that?
Well,
what's going on?
I think they should have a car wash.
I'm saying, what's going on up there where they get that kind of money
you got the Russian owner who bought the team 2 years ago.
But there's still the salary cap.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. It's no different than they brought on a lot of contracts that run out. So
Okay,
they
so
basically
they're getting rid of. They're clearing house.
They're clearing house. So basically,
get an NBA player for the low price of just.
And it's
we're
in
going out of business. Everybody must go.
Everything must go.
Everything
Maybe
must go.
even you.
It's the same
Point
thing.
guard, strong forwards.
It's the same thing that the Knicks had to do when they had taken on Steve Francis and all those guys. They had to kind of wait and grab contracts where they end. So if the Nets played this next season out, they would only have like 4 people on the roster after next year because everybody contract. And that's how you open up your books because the money's there. We're just going to give it to these 3 players.
Right.
But that would be a pretty potent 3 people because
that'd be pretty potent.
Yeah, Joe is your outside shot. Darren is your penetrator. Dwight is your enforcer and center.
Okay, now we free up the $1,800 trillion billion from Joe Johnson's contract for the Hawks.
Right.
Who do we go out and get?
That is the question. What happens in next year's free agents? I would have to look and see who will be free. As you see, the Clippers went on and re-signed Blake Griffin. The big 3 in Miami aren't going anywhere for 2-3 more years. They're under contract.
Chris Paul's unhappy. Didn't he talk about coming here for a minute?
Yeah, it was like for 15 seconds.
That minute, yeah, he tweeted it. Then was like, "Nah, I changed my mind."
So just keep your head out. I like them to keep Joe because it's not. My thing is replace people with people. Don't just replace people.
because he's the only one
with
anybody knows.
Potential.
Right.
We hope to get somebody in the future.
He's the only one anybody knows on the team, basically. And I don't think they finished their background check on Ivan Johnson. So.
If they look a little deeper.
Right. We don't know if he'll still be out next season. So.
Well, for all you Erin Andrews fans, college football and college basketball ESPN reporter, I guess you have to Google her. She's leaving ESPN. She's one of the first women who brought the female sideline reporter to magazines. She was doing a lot of bikini modeling and things like that. She even had some scandal where they caught her in a hotel nude or something.
And she didn't pay for the pictures, though. She just took it like a G and went on and admitted, sometimes I get naked in hotel rooms.
But she did bring a certain sexiness that the male population like to see on the sideline. Ms. Andrews, there's reports that Fox Sports may offer her a job. They did not say why they released her or why she left. It could have been her. It could have been the company. But Erin Andrews is stepping down as ESPN sideline reporter. Jamal Anderson, former Falcon running back.
Who?
That Jamal Anderson, not the other Jamal Anderson.
I'd say
the running back. He was arrested this past weekend, drunk driving. 39-year-old former running back. He just seemed to stay in bad situations.
Remember when he blew his knee out and he had the press conference saying, "I will be back."
You remember that?
we just didn't know it was in court that you were talking about, Jamal.
Wow.
Because he just had an incident at he caught in the stall or something up
with
at
cocaine.
At the cocaine or
him and Bruno Mars.
It was
That's a sports jock rumor started right here.
Yeah, I don't know about the Bruno Mars part, but I do know that Jamal Anderson, he was caught somewhere with some drug paraphernalia or something on the back of the toilet seat.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what was going on in the stall. I wasn't there, but it sounded like it was something interesting.
And I wasn't apprehended, so I'm not going to say anything.
But the top of the hour is coming up, and we're going to talk about social media and where Facebook might destroy your life. We'll be back after this break with more of the Sports Jock Show.
888-926-7562.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Psst. Hey, over here.
What?
Right here, on the side of the house.
Who said that?
Look down. I'm right at your feet.
Wait, the basketball?
Yes, the basketball. Right down here, where the kids left me a long time ago. Man, you know how lonely it is being a ball and not being able to bounce or roll?
Excuse me?
Remember when you got me for the kids? You said, now kids, you have no excuse not to go outside and play.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I'll miss flying through the air and hearing the shouts of joy when I swish through the basket. What do you say? Could you give me a little air and remind the kids of how fun I still am?
Okay. Oh, wow. You are flat.
Easy, I'm ticklish. Let's get bouncing.
As Native American parents and caregivers, our encouragement to healthy lifestyles for our kids is helping them get outside and play. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov/Indian Country. Brought to you by USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for
Wayne Gandy.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Show me.
Broadcasting live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. We were talking about Twitter and Mike Tyson twittering about eating ears with barbecue sauce. The Real Deal has a new barbecue sauce. I guess he's had a taste of Joe Horn's barbecue sauce and didn't like it.
I could do better than that.
I'll add one more spice and make my own. Recent reports have come out that a lot of people in their divorces, especially in the UK, the lawyers have been using things off of Facebook
and Twitter
to help out with their cases over there. Big Kenny, Miss Desire. I'm always wondering, are these things becoming negative, or are they still as exciting as they used to be? Because every time we look up, like we spoke earlier, Amari Stoudemire of the Knicks, $50,000 for something he said on Twitter. We always see someone on Twitter or Facebook getting caught or fined for something they have to say. Where does social media fit into athletics at this point?
I'm not sure where it fits into athletics. I think that just like most anything when you're dealing with groups and corporations, athletics are events that are put on for profit.
Mm-hmm.
So the people who sponsor those events, the promoters, the advertisers, the networks that broadcast them, those are the people that require those apologies. If you play for those organizations, if you work and have your work distributed by those entities, then you got to toe that line. So you can feel how you feel, just not on Twitter. I personally have a problem with any censorship of a person's personal feelings. Being an entertainer, specifically a comedian, my industry's foundation is predicated on the First Amendment. I say what I want, how I want, when I want. And that is my privilege. That is what you pay to see, my opinion. You pay to hear me speak how I feel. And for someone to come along and say, don't speak like that too much, or don't say that out loud, then I have a problem with that.
Outlet for athletes like Twitter and Facebook are things that the league should be banned from policing.
Well, I mean, it's very difficult. If Amari Stoudemire makes a disparaging remark about homosexuals and he plays in New York, where a large portion of the Knick ticket buying base is homosexual, and they stop buying tickets, then that affects the organization.
Even to where you're sitting here criticizing me, so you can say what you want to me, because they never tell the other story. I don't know whether someone called him a name or not. They just know that he said something in response. So where does the line draw where you can say something to me? A team or a company wants me to use this way of communicating, but then you want to fine me for what I have to say.
Yeah.
It's that's the flea that comes with the dog, man. It's like you're older, you know better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He hit me and I hit him back, but yeah, you're older, you know better. You know not to be hitting little kids, or you knew not to let them eat that ice cream before dinner, that kind of thing. Sometimes the responsibility falls on you just because of who you are, right, or your position in life. So these are things that he has to deal with. I'm not saying it's right. If I have something to say about you, I want to be able to say it. And if you want me to detract what I said, I'd probably say something mean to you too. I mean, but that's just me. And personally,
because I've seen your show, and if somebody say you okay with, we love you, Big Kitty, right? But somebody say, hey,
we like you a lot. Hey, we got a problem with that. I'm not with no just regular whole lot of like. You got to love me or adore me. I ain't got but two kinds of ways I like to be admired. So I don't know, man. But a lot of these dudes, I think it's ridiculous that you understand the limitations you're under, Amari Stoudemire. You know Kobe already was fined for the off-colored remark about homosexuality. You know what you're facing, and then for you to go out and do it, maybe you just feel like you had 50 G's to blow. I mean, don't act like you didn't know it was going to happen.
But also, too, just because they're athletes doesn't necessarily mean that they don't go through something. So somebody very well may have pressed their buttons, because we're all public figures, too. And we all have Facebook, and, well, you don't have Twitter. I'm going to need you to fix that, Wayne. But I'm saying, for the most part, you have to be mindful about what you say about others, even if it is your feelings.
Don't give me maybe the fan got inside his head. These are people that stand in the arena every night screaming, your mother should have never given birth to you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You should have graduated high school. You can't spell.
Have a dictionary.
That's what I'm saying. So now you all sensitive in 140 characters?
It's a thin line, because you do see a lot of, and this is the problem I have, like, with people that don't go to college.
But college is not for everybody.
No. I'm talking about for athletes.
Okay.
You sometimes don't learn how to taper that part of you, because you never had to go through that. When you just kind of go into your fame right out of high school, you didn't have that college coach for about 2-3 years calling you everything, to where you got desensitized to that kind of barrage of bashing. But
no one ever had to say, hey, cool out in the lunchroom.
Right.
because those things, they start that in college.
Right. But we're going to talk some baseball when we come back from commercial.
All right. Sports Jock Show, 888-926-7562.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Over 13 million people are affected by famine, war, and drought in the Horn of Africa. Unfortunately, just listening to this commercial won't help them. Just listening won't give them their next meal, or shelter, or hope. You can help by texting GIVE to to 777-444 to donate $10 and by going to usaid.gov/FWD to forward the fax. Brought to you by the Ad Council and USAID. Text donations go directly to Consortium of Humanitarian Relief Organizations. Standard text and data rates apply.
And now back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. Major League Baseball is on the eve of its annual All-Star Game, which always lets you know that we are halfway through the baseball season. We've had some people who shined, and we've had some people who earn a lot of money who seem like they disappeared this year once they got paid. It's been a great and exciting baseball season so far. I've even went out to the park 2 or 3 times to catch some games. It seems like so much action. This first half, to me, it seemed like the second half. So I can just imagine what's going to happen going down the back stretch in this season. But I wanted to talk a little baseball quickly, and we call my man Todd Harris, scout for the LA Dodgers. I'm quite sure he is very happy right now, smiling, because his team is doing their thing out in LA. Todd, are you there?
Oh, yes. How you doing there, Big Wayne?
I'm doing good, man. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Glad to be on today.
Since you're a scout for the LA Dodgers, and the guy I want to talk about first, making about $50 million a year out in LA, Mr. Albert Pujols, how has that experiment turned out for the Angels so far?
Actually, I think Albert's kind of getting a bad rap right now. You can kind of see he's slowly kind of getting a little bit hot here. And he's kind of, over the last month, I would say he's getting back in the swing and kind of getting to where he's supposed to be as far as with his swing and what he kind of brings to the table. But if you kind of look at it, you notice that a lot of guys that are first-year players that Trout and a lot Trombone, a couple other guys that they got in the organization and just kind of moved them up to the big leagues, those guys are playing well. Mm-hmm. And when you play around Albert Pujols, you're going to get better because you're going to see a lot better pitches because teams and pitchers still fear what he can do and what he brings to the table. So if you notice that everybody typically around Albert Pujols always have an exploding year batting around him and batting in back of him or in front of him just because he just gains that much attention at the plate. And like I said, he got off to a horrendous start. I mean, and he typically does in April always, but his numbers are steady climbing up. Now, are they still low for his standards? Yeah, they're extremely low, but he is getting a lot better and actually making, I think, his teammates around him a lot better.
So you're saying that his effect is that the other players are getting better opportunities when they step up to the plate?
Yes, I think so. I mean, this is a guy, Trout, they just brought up a couple months ago. I mean, he made the All-Star team. He's a rookie. I mean, that stuff typically doesn't happen, but just because you play, I think, with Albert Pujols, and you kind of, I mean, he's a professional hitter. I mean, and he can get players around him better and kind of step up their game just because, like I said, he just brings so much presence when he's in that lineup on an everyday basis. So other guys are going to see better pitching.
Yeah, I always thought that about Barry Bonds, that a lot of his greatness was that how the other players got better opportunities. Their RBIs went out because Barry always was on base, or they got better pitches because the guy was seeing Barry over in the on deck circle. So, you know, and guys' numbers always took off when he was in the lineup. So I totally understand that point of view. Looking at the season so far, it's been dominated by pitching. I mean, we've had perfect game. We've had no-hitters. We've had one-hitters. We've had one-hitters with 15 strikeouts. We've had, like, records being set and broken weekly. Why is the pitching so dominant?
That's a number that I've been kind of trying to figure out myself, because we've had 5 no-hitters. I mean, right now it ain't even got All-Star break week yet. I mean, when you take it from 2010, we had a total of 6, 2009 total of 2, and 2008 a total of 2, and that's numbers just blowing me away. And obviously, I think some people are always going to revert back to the fact that when the guys were quote unquote using performance-enhancing type drugs and kind of getting bigger and stronger, and obviously can kind of hit the ball a mile, then obviously those numbers of no-hitters were not in the play. And I don't know if that's a trend where that's kind of slowly creeping back up, and these guys are not afraid to kind of throw inside, or not afraid to kind of come into the big hitters, and I think that's what they're doing. For a while, you kind of stay away, pitchers would stay away from those hitters, means working the outside corners and actually throwing a little more breaking balls and different things like that. Well, now I think they just challenge hitters a little bit more and let their defense do a little more work. So I just kind of, it is an awkward year as far as for that, and I just think pitchers are just kind of coming at the hitters a little bit more than they normally would. They normally nibble a little bit more and kind of get themselves in trouble, where I think now they just kind of challenging the hitters a whole lot more, in which obviously we're seeing these great numbers by pitchers that you never even heard of. R.A. Dickey, who probably ever heard of him before the last couple of years, and he's 12-1 at this point. I mean, he throws a knuckleball, which obviously is a different, you know what I mean, a tight pitch with what guys are not used to seeing on an everyday basis. And so, I mean, he's 11-1 and had a lot of one-hitters and things like that, just because he can keep guys off balance with that knuckleball. But I just think pitchers are challenging hitters a lot more, and those are what you kind of seeing, the proof in the pudding, where you may get some of that performance-enhancing stuff off the field as far as that, and you kind of go see guys come back down to normalcy as far as with their hitting.
And Todd, when you watch the pitching, what would you contribute to the games I've seen? These pitchers are pitching hard. It's like I look at the ball like, you know, what's this guy's name? Even if I start looking through the program, I go on the internet to try to figure out, because it's like, why don't I know about this guy throwing this 95-mile-per-hour fastball?
You're right, and that's kind of the trend here lately, to where they're going out and getting dominant pitchers that throw in the up mid to upper 80s, like Justin Verlander and David Price. He's a left-hander that's with Tampa Bay, throwing mid to upper 90s. I mean, these guys demand and kind of can throw the fastball with a little higher velocity. And I think what you're seeing now more days, where the Greg Maddoxes of the world, and not saying there wasn't good athletes, but I think now you're seeing pitchers now are typically your best athletes, and those guys can really ring up that number and really throw it up there pretty hard. And I think now, from what the Braves, if you kind of see the teams they lost to in World Series type games, were pitchers that were power pitchers, the Roger Clemens and those kind of guys can demand the fastball at 95 and above. So I just think now they're kind of going back to that and kind of knowing that you win with power pitching. And like you said, even if a guy can throw 5 innings, they're throwing for 5 innings, throwing 95 and above, and then they can rely on their bullpen to kind of get the rest of the outs for them, is what I'm kind of noticing.
Well, Todd, real quickly, piggybacking off a name that you said, last question here. Roger Clemens, will he be first ballot Hall of Fame, or will they stall him out to the point we forget some of the allegations that were upon him?
At this point, from what I'm seeing and seeing what the trends are, and kind of talking to a lot of writers out there, they're basically saying that they're not going to let them in if they've even been tainted or even kind of had any allegations of being brought to court, which in this case he's been brought to court, where they're going to let him in the Hall of Fame. Now, 10, 15 years down the road, obviously, will some people may slip in then, maybe so, but as over the next 10 years, I just don't see him, McGuire, Barry Bonds, Sosa, any of the Palomaro, any of those kind of guys are going to get in, just because if you let one of them in, you're going to have to let all of them in, and I just don't think they're willing to do that right at this particular point. So even though he was a power pitcher, dominated, it's kind of hard for everyone to believe that he can throw 95 at 40 years old. So I just think that's going to still resonate in their mind, what he kind of did later on in his career. So I don't see it in the next 10 to 15 years, but anything could happen. But I just don't see it.
All right. Thank you, Todd, for helping us out. Todd Harris, LA Scout, Dodger. We'll be back.
The Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
In times like these, strangers at your door should be treated cautiously, but unwelcome strangers in your home can be your worst nightmare. Home invasion is a form of armed robbery where criminals break into homes through unlocked or open doors and windows. They even trick people into opening their doors to confront victims face to face. They can be after money and valuables, threaten personal assault, or take members of the family captive. But you can be proactive against these disturbing attacks. Learn how to protect yourself against home invasions. Never open the door to strangers. Secure your home with high-security locks and quality door and window hardware. Consider a home security system and even a dog. It's also a good idea to devise an action plan for your family in case intruders ever do enter your home. To learn more about how to keep your home safe from intruders, visit ncpc.org. That's ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
When crime prevention is your life, your days don't stay quiet for long. What did I tell you? My name? McGruff the Crime Dog. I wear a trench coat.
McGruff, I need help.
That was a concerned citizen. And boy, did she sound concerned.
I'm very concerned.
What did I tell you?
Someone took out a loan in my name. They're pretending to be me and spending my money. I can't understand.
It's called identity theft, and it's growing fast. Safeguard your personal information, like your Social Security, credit card, or bank account numbers. On the phone, online, even around the house, because half of identity theft occurs by someone you think you know. Learn more from the National Crime Prevention Council at ncpc.org. Take it from McGruff. Keep your identity to yourself and take a bite out of crime.
A message from this station, the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the National Crime Prevention Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. We'd like to first thank Todd Harris, LA Dodger Scout, for calling in and helping us with the baseball report. All-Star game, my favorite All-Star game, because there's something on the line when they play. It's not just like basketball or the Pro Bowl. The winner of Major League Baseball All-Star Game, that league has home field advantage in the World Series. Birthdays for this week, so we can make sure that I don't get that little note at the end. We had a couple of birthdays over the last 7 days. Fantasia, the singer Fantasia, 28 years old. I don't know why I think she's like 45.
Don't talk to me.
Does she not look 45, or is it me?
That's just her hands.
Writer and director J.J. Abrams of such shows as Lost and Alias, 46 years old. The original Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, 37. The new Spider-Man movie, I think, comes out this week.
The 20, I think it's the 20. No, that's Batman, maybe.
I think it's tomorrow.
Right.
The Amazing Spider-Man comes
tomorrow,
out.
Right.
Yeah, you know. Kathy Bates, 64 years old. Great actress, Kathy Bates.
Fantastic actress.
Yes, she is. Misery.
Spooky.
Misery was one of those movies that you just always remembered it, isn't it?
And anytime someone comes up to me and goes, "I'm a huge fan of yours," I go, "Okay, I will not exchange information with you."
Oh, actor John Cusack is 46 years old. Khloe Kardashian, that's the one married to Lamar.
I think,
But they said it's not a Kardashian.
Is 28 years old. Khloe Kardashian. David Allen Greer. Surprisingly, I didn't know he was this old. 56 years old.
Wow.
I
don't know
He
why.
just
I thought
really
he was-
looks good.
Yeah.
I thought he was younger. David Allen Greer, 56 years old. Chris O'Donnell played Robin, 42 years old. He's on that show with LL, isn't he?
LL.
What's that show? They have on
CSI
TV?
LA.
Something like
Yeah.
42 years old. Tishina Arnold. Now that's Pam, right?
Tishina
Yes.
Arnold, yeah.
That's the one Pam from the Martin show.
Yes.
NCIS LA is Chris O'Donnell
Yeah,
and
okay.
LL Cool J. Forgive me.
Okay, Tishina Arnold, 43 years old.
Wow.
And someone who, definitely has earned her reputation, Miss Lindsay Lohan, is 26 years old.
What?
26. Seems like she's
like
106.
19.
She's aged in dog years.
does.
She's so whoa. All that narcotic addiction will make you look a little older, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I said she earned her
Yeah,
reputation. Lindsay Lohan,
26.
26
Whoa.
years
Don't look
old.
a day over 73.
For you residents of Georgia, as I said earlier in the show, as of yesterday, there's a new driving license policy that you're going to need 3 pieces of identification when you go get your license now. You're going to need your birth certificate, your social security number, and a proof of address. They should call this the immigration law because that's why they put it in effect
So
to try
like-
to weed out people in the state.
So what if I bring like my old license back? You know what I'm saying? Didn't we
That
go
won't
through all
work.
of that when you gave me this license that I'm getting renewed?
Hey.
We went through all of that stuff, so at least you know that I'm a citizen. So let's just move on to the current address
Like they
part
used
of
to
the
say
thing.
in the medieval times, don't kill the messenger, man. I'm
Hey,
just
man,
here telling you the
I'm
new
just
rule.
saying, every time y'all with that old, sir, can you step out of the car with your license and registrations, keep your hands where I can see them type stuff. You know what I mean? I'm so sick of folks with all of that license.
But they also imply too that you can update your license or renew them 150 days before your birthday or they expire. That just took effect as well.
Yeah.
Right. But you can no
150 days.
longer do it online. It has
No,
to be
you can
done-
still- you can
No,
still
it
do it
has to be
online.
done in person. Then.
No, only for like 2 or 3 months.
Your first
They're-
renewal.
Yeah,
Okay.
your first renewal. But after that, you can do it. But right now,
Okay.
the system itself is down, so that's why you can't do it right now.
Like I said, the new immigration policy is being put into effect. I'm quite sure a lot of other states will be implementing this soon after.
I have my proof of residency. Okay,
Okay.
can I see your driver's license? The driver license. Can I see your social security card? Okay. Can I see your social security card? No,
Hurry up and buy.
No,
Hurry up and buy.
no, habla inglés. No one speak español.
And one other note here in Atlanta, as it has been for the last 3 or 4 decades, the July 4th annual Atlanta Constitution Peachtree Road Race will kick off. They have already started barricading the roads, making me go in 100 different directions to get out of the parking lots. So I will be glad when 1 o'clock Wednesday gets here so they can get all those those toilets, porta potties off the street.
Yeah.
I didn't know that many people need to use the restroom.
Why they running a marathon? You know what I'm saying? Woo, woo. I'm gonna go one more mile. Then I got to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
You know what? Do they actually let go when they're running?
I guess.
I
Yeah.
guess
Obviously.
based on what kind of sweat you got going on.
Either that or that's for the volunteers.
Based on how bad you want to win.
Yeah.
But we're going to go to
the very smelly front runner just crossed the finish line.
We'll be back with more of the Sports Chalk Show.
All right, you kids get to bed. I get the storybook.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Psst. Hey, over here.
What?
Right here, on the side of the house.
Who said that?
Look down. I'm right at your feet.
Wait, the basketball?
Yes, the basketball. Right down here, where the kids left me a long time ago. Man, you know how lonely it is being a ball and not being able to bounce or roll?
Excuse me?
Remember when you got me for the kids? You said, now kids, you have no excuse not to go outside and play.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I'll miss flying through the air and hearing the shouts of joy when I swish through the basket. What do you say? Could you give me a little air and remind the kids of how fun I still am?
Okay. Oh, wow. You are flat.
Easy, I'm ticklish. Let's get bouncing.
As Native American parents and caregivers, our encouragement to healthy lifestyles for our kids is helping them get outside and play. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov/Indian Country. Brought to you by USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Hi, I'm Heather Cox with ESPN. When I need my sports and entertainment, I listen to the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy, sitting here with the beautiful Miss Desire and the funny man, Big Kenny. About 2 weeks ago, a special came out for the 20-year anniversary of the Dream Team on, I think it was NBA TV, put it out, the Dream Team. They had a 90-minute special about the first Dream Team, the one who really gave its name, who blew out the competition everywhere they went. It was a great, I had to TiVo it, so it was a great watch.
Right.
To learn some of the intricacies about their trip and getting together and how they had to put their egos aside and the whole.
How some people didn't make the trip because of egos.
Yeah, how Michael Jordan had an issue with Isaiah Thomas, him and Scottie Pippen, and rightfully so. The battle between the Pistons and the Bulls back in the day.
Bad Boys and the Bulls was epic.
Got a little hectic back in the day.
I mean, but that's still a little bit of Haitian right there. I mean, we had some outstanding series, so I don't want dude to come play with us. Mike. I love Michael Jordan to death, but I'm not gonna side with him.
Yeah, I stood on the fence on that one too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna side with you on that one, Mike. You could have let that man come and take his shot.
But they talk about how they comprise the team, and for you that don't remember, I'm quite sure a lot of you know some of the names. Christian Laettner was the college player. They had Barkley and Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullin, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, John Stockton. I love how they show John Stockton got off the bus and decided to walk, and he had on his Dream Team shirt.
Right.
But no fan recognized him. He said he loved it, how, because that was his personality.
Right.
He just wanted to play basketball.
Right.
But people would stop him and be like, "You're from America? You come to watch the Dream Team?"
And he would get out there and rain them shots out of the sky.
But you had Scottie Pippen, a great team. Patrick Ewing, like I said, David Robinson, who actually had lost, was the reason the Dream Team was even put together, because the '88 team didn't win the gold, and David Robinson was on that team. But since then, reports have come out that Clyde Drexler has thrown a little anger into the mix in a book that has been put out called The Dream Team, where he's stating that it was sympathy that got Magic Johnson on the Dream Team. For most of us who remember that late November, Magic Johnson announced he had AIDS, but he still was allowed to play in the All-Star game. And
no one boxed him out amazingly. After that, no one was boxing him out that much.
And as Larry Bird even said in the special, some of us was ignorant to even understanding AIDS and thinking, well, if he sweat on me, you get AIDS or things like that. Clyde has come out in a book, allegedly. Now, Clyde says that he never said these words, but he said everybody kept waiting for Magic to die every time he ran up and down the court. Everybody felt sorry for him.
And this is what happens when they don't let you have access to social media.
Yep.
You wait until you retire, and then you start thinking about it and you stew about it for a few years, and the next thing you know, you got some tell-all book out, and you've damaged the relationship that you and that man have had for decades. Now, regardless if it's true or not, if this is not something that you said to Magic to his face, for you to put it out in a book, I think is a little bit flawed. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of those men that I'm not going to say anything about you that I'm not willing to say to you, and I've never cared for people saying to other people, hey, man, did you hear what Kenny said about you? So the first thing I do is I come to you and say, look, Sports Jock, I got a problem with you. And then I express what that problem is, and if somebody else asks me about it, I may tell them what the problem between us is, but you heard it first from me. You didn't have to get it like off the shelves at Barnes and Noble.
And let's really take the cap off of this and expose Clyde to understand that this is Magic Johnson. Anything that he ever is put on involving NBA, you should always shake his hand and be thankful, because it was him and Larry Bird who took the NBA.
It's showtime, baby.
From being pre-recorded. People forget the NBA games were pre-recorded back in the late 70s, early 80s, until Magic and Bird breathed air into the league and made it showtime. And you want to talk about a man who is never argued about being the best point guard in the league.
Now,
he was
Clyde
still Clyde was on the team, and he was still 32 when he announced he had AIDS. So he still had 2 or 3 good years that would have kept the Lakers in contention to have epic battles with Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals. So he's talking like this dude is Harold Miner or somebody.
Well, I'm saying, what is his problem? It's not like it kept you from being on the team. What is your problem with?
There's somebody he was asked last.
Oh,
so, that's
you Clyde Drexler, dude. You lucky they asked you at all.
He's just mad that Magic kept throwing him out the playoffs when they played Portland.
Stop, let it go. You acting like Michael Jordan when he didn't let Isaiah come get on the team now.
So hopefully Clyde and Magic can make up, because 2 Hall of Famers of their caliber should always have a peaceful existence. We'll be back. I have a questionnaire I need to fill out.
I'll do it.
You'll do it for me?
Have your mail sent to his house.
I know, right?
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Go Caleb! Come on, hit a homer, Jesse!
Let's go, guys!
Hey, did you guys know that kids who play sports earn more money when they grow up?
Of course. I knew that.
Hey, did you guys know that kids who read books have a bigger vocabulary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Wow, jinx. Did you guys know that friendly children have more friends?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's true. I knew that. Did you guys know that winter babies are better at music?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obvious.
Oh, hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Huh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The forest is a treasured and magical place.
Hello, Bambi. Hello,
But a wildfire can destroy its beauty for a lifetime. It's always wildfire season somewhere in America. Nearly 9 out of 10 wildfires nationwide are caused by the carelessness of humans and could be prevented. But together, we can make a difference.
Watch what I can do!
Help protect the home of our forest friends.
He can call me a flower if he wants to.
To find out more, log on to SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
This message has been brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, the National Association of State Foresters, and the Ad Council.
Come on! You could do it!
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I am the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy. Big Kenny, Miss Desire, I have a questionnaire I have to fill out. I won't tell you who sent it to me. They were trying to get some information about former players. It starts off with Junior Seau's death this spring again thrust the health of former NFL players into the spotlight. While we'll probably never know what led to Seau's suicide, it is clear that the health of former players is an issue that will be front and center for years, especially as it relates to concussions. With this in mind, we are attempting to write the most comprehensive package possible on this issue, and we need your help. So they mailed me this questionnaire, and I have some questions I have to answer. Thought it'd be nice for people to see what we get in the mail sometime. First question is, did you suffer any concussions while playing football? And how many? Now, it's a standard question. I think the how many is, if I had concussions, would I remember? How many is
so, really right?
But
how many times were you unconscious?
But that is a valid question. So I don't remember how many, but yes. Did you ever knowingly or unknowingly play with a concussion? Yes. That would be a yes too.
And you remember all this stuff. I like it.
Are you suffering from any symptoms related to those concussions? What are the symptoms? Well, when you have to give me a selection of what symptoms I should be looking for,
right.
Like this is what you have to answer though. Yes. I'll put a yes down for that.
What are they?
I don't know. They didn't give me anything to select from. Do you know how you suffered the concussions? Was it blocking, tackling, or getting tackled? I don't tackle.
Playing football.
Yeah, I was just going to put general football. Yes, football.
Those are pretty vague questions.
Okay. Number 5. Do you have any other football-related physical problems? What are they?
I've got some pictures out there of me and a stripper naked that I would like to get back.
I'll be that stripper for you. Okay. Kenny, we can start today.
All right.
Wayne, are you in?
Don't give him a heart attack.
I think you should be included, Wayne, so you can get the picture.
That was the reason he went vegan.
Yeah, so I can keep that heart pumping. Hey, I'm telling you, you ain't never had to put it in your life. You had to put it in your life by a dude that don't eat nothing but raw plants. You know
I'm going to tell you, though, while you're doing that questionnaire, the athletes who tweeted, Meta World Peace. He tweeted, whether I get traded or not, y'all still invited to my house for vegan pig and orange juice. We can rain dance all night. How you feel about that? I'm just a messenger.
Question number 6. How many surgeries have you had because of football? That would be 2. How would you rate your quality of life right now? A, better than most. B,
Oh, they gave you a questionnaire on that one.
B, same as most. C, worse than most
choices.
people.
Let me see. My house the size of a library. My 12-cylinder exotic sports car.
It sounds like he has
my sports radio show. I'm all right, I guess.
Okay.
It's okay. I'm all right.
Number 8, there have been numerous documented cases about the degeneration of former players' mental health. Do you fear the future regarding your health as it relates to your football career? Yes. I'm just going to have yes all on the paper when I get it. They didn't even put
remind me
you
to
know
give
what
you
really,
something like that.
You know what really messed me up about this?
What's that?
They could have at least had a posted envelope. They want me to mail it back to them.
Right.
Huh?
But
I mean, aren't you a company? Aren't you supposed to put a stamp on there for me? 9, when it comes to football with your kids, grandkids, and other relatives, would you A, encourage them to play, B, discourage them from playing, C, allow them to decide but describe the risk?
Or D, first of all, track down all of the illegitimate children that you have throughout the world and get relationships with them, and then decide if you're going to let them know.
That Dana testing.
And number 10, knowing what you know now, would you play in the NFL again? Yes.
I take a shot. Who knows? I mean, it's a wacky world.
I rolled the dice on that one more time.
On that storied 17-year, 15-year career in the NFL, I think I'll try it one more time.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got tired of doing it.
Guys, I have a question. What is it with you all being, and I say you all, I'm saying in men in general, whether you're an athlete or a comedian, it doesn't matter. Why are y'all up at 4:30 in the morning? Where's y'all's wives and y'all's girlfriends or significant others to keep y'all at home? Why are y'all getting pulled over?
As we come back from the break, I will answer that question as to where I am at 4:30 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm out at the strip club looking for a wife or a girlfriend. You know what I mean? You know, don't limit me to online dating. Maybe I don't want to find somebody on Match.com.
We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show after this.
888-926-7562.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Honey, I'm home. I've got a surprise for you.
Get that filthy, disgusting tire out of my living room. You're on my favorite rug.
Calm down. You're going to love this.
What?
Whoa.
The goldfish bowl.
I won't run over them. Relax.
You roll that tire right back out of here.
Relax. It's all part of my master plan to save us money.
This is not going to be our coffee table. Don't even think about putting a piece of glass on top.
No, honey. This is a reminder to keep our tires properly inflated so we can save money on gas.
Can't we just tie a string around our fingers?
Sweetie, properly inflated tires could save us more money at the pump than a week's worth of gas.
You're getting tire tracks on my love seat.
Exactly. To remind us that we love saving gas with properly inflated tires.
What's wrong with the sticky note on the dashboard?
Discover smarter ways to save hundreds of dollars on gas and help the environment, too, at the Alliance to Save Energy's website, drivesmarterchallenge.org.
Hey, let's put the sticky note on the tire.
Hi, we're talking to real smokers about quitting. Tell me when you smoke and why you smoke.
Eat, cigarette, kids, cigarette, dinner, another cigarette.
One on my way to lunch, one after lunch.
And another cigarette, and another cigarette.
Have you tried to quit?
Yes. I become angry.
It ain't that easy. You can't just quit cold turkey. I tried.
What would you do different?
Actually having a plan and thinking it through.
You have to relearn how to live your life without a cigarette in your hand.
With the right plan, you can quit smoking. Free at becomeanx.org. X, a new way to think about quitting. Brought to you by X and the Ad Council.
I'm Ed Smart, father of a child who was abducted.
I'm John Walsh. Like Ed, I also know the terror of having a child who was kidnapped. But now we have wonderful technology to aid in this battle.
It's called the Amber Alert. It's an early notification system to the public when every second counts.
Amber Alert is a partnership. We want to thank you, the public, broadcasters, transportation, and law enforcement. Amber Alert really works.
And now, back to the sports jock, Wayne Gandy.
The truth is, he will throw your ass in the ocean. It's time to wrap things up on the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy, and when you hear the sounds of the ocean, it means that the Sports Jock Show is coming to an end. Before I end the show, real quickly, Big Kenny, I will let you answer Miss Desire's question as we went to break.
And just to be clear, I do believe that Miss Desire's question was that what is it with men that they are out at 2, 3, 4 in the morning getting DUIs instead of being at home with significant others? Is that correct? That's correct. I can't speak for anyone but myself. I'm out a lot of times at 3, 4 in the morning and later because as a comedian, as an actor, as a talent, a lot of times my job requires me to work a schedule past 9 to 5. So sometimes as a nighttime entertainer, I'm out very early in the mornings. I'm not getting DUIs because I'm a responsible individual.
Okay,
I don't believe in drinking and driving. If I'm gonna get sauced up, let somebody else drive. You know what I mean? Now, as to why these guys are out, I don't know. You know what I mean? Sometimes I may be out and I may have a chick with me. You know, so I mean, maybe they got chicks with them. So I mean, you know, maybe it's not a woman's
And the police reports, they don't ever say anything about the women. I'm just saying, like,
yeah, because you usually don't. If you're out at 4 in the morning, for the dudes that get stopped and have women in the car, it's usually not their wives, and it ends up in a very bad situation. A la what's his name, Damon Williams, that dude, Evans. Damon Evans from University of Georgia. So
you know, I weigh in to say that integrity needs no rules.
Not at all.
So when you have integrity, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. So if you're getting in trouble at 4 a.m., 2 a.m., 5 a.m., you're just a trouble person.
Right.
Okay.
Because a person with integrity, they know still not to drive home drunk or doing their other stuff that they were doing. It doesn't matter the time of day.
Right.
We'd like to send, you know, from the Sports Jock Show to the Timothy Nixon family, the Georgia soccer player who sadly died. He crashed into a Baskin Robbins or a Haagen-Dazs stand at the Underground. He was driving his car, jumped the curb, and landed on Rocky Road. I'm just saying.
So while he's laughing, can I say Red Robin's commercial? Okay, sorry.
This has to go into one of those. What's that show to come on? Like 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah, 1,000 Ways to Die.
He totally destroyed the.
Someone had a little too much rum with their rum raisin.
Yeah, Timothy Nixon, 21 years old, played soccer.
God bless his family.
Was he intoxicated? Was there drugs involved?
They haven't come out with why. But he did jump the curb and ended up at he destroyed the store.
Yeah. I mean, because 21 sounds too young for a heart attack or a stroke.
But he may have had a seizure. I've actually had a friend who was.
Oh, he could have been trying to text somebody.
That's a strong possibility.
Come on now. Yeah. Most of the poor driving that you see on the highways, somebody, when you get beside them, they're looking at their phone.
I just took a defensive driving course. That is one of the things that they say don't do. Now, whether I say I'm doing it or not,
he could have been hanging out with Jamal Anderson and just driving around
at 4:30 in the morning.
Sauced up.
For you track and field people who are interested, as we reported last week, there was a tie for third place in the 100-meter women's final. They did figure out a way to end this. They're going to have a runoff tonight at 8 p.m. between Allison Felix, who also won the 200-meter to make it to the London Olympics, and her friend and training partner, Jennifer Turmo. They're going to race tonight. Should be very interesting. You should tune in just to see history. This has never been done before. They let the two girls, or two women, excuse me, figure out how they would split the tie. Some people had said coin toss. Some people had said one person bow out. And now they have decided just to race, and that will be tonight on NBC. So it should be an exciting race, exciting atmosphere. Somebody's going to Olympics, and somebody is going home. But this is the Ocean, so this gives the sports jock time to vent. And before I do that, I'd like to thank Todd Harris, LA Scout for the Dodgers. LA Dodger Scout, excuse me. And my man Doug Fireball Turnbull for calling in and helping with the show. Here in Atlanta, we're close to Athens, Georgia. We're about an hour and a half away from there. And back in the 80s and 90s, that school had a great tradition at the running back position. Names like Herschel Walker, Tim Worley, Garrison Hurst, Terrell Davis, Rodney Hampton are names that come to my mind. Some of those guys went on the legends in the NFL, Super Bowl champs. Now they have a tradition where their starting running back gets arrested and thrown off the team. Names like Washaun Ely, Dontavius Jackson, Caleb King, Carlton Thomas, and now sophomore running back Isaiah Crowell, who was arrested 2 days ago for possession of weapons. He's suffering. He's being charged with 2 felony possession charges of weapons, and Coach Ricks has thrown him off the team. It's amazing how 5 men built a legacy and 5 men tore down a legacy. So Isaiah Crowell, and for you other 4 former Georgia running backs,
walk the plank.
This has been the Sports Jock Show. We appreciate you for tuning in. We will be back here next Monday, 10 a.m. Wednesday is the 4th of July. Enjoy yourself responsibly. For Big Kenny, the funny man himself, the beautiful Miss Desire.
Yay.
Kenny, you can turn around and look at your poster now.
I know.
Since the show is going
It's all in his face all the time.
And that's
And
how
it's
I
right
like
there.
And that's how I like it. In my face all the time.
We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock next week. Have a good holiday.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Every morning when I wake up, money on my mind, go time to get caked up. Sunshine coming through my blinds, I'm living, but really though it's never enough. 10 billion, that's a must. Living in California, everybody wanna visit for. They come